Thank you very much, Kevin. John Cullen once again alongside four-time BC Scotties champion Melissa Saligo on the call, and we're joining this game in progress, Melissa. So we won't get too deep into our analysis, but while we see these two teams start to get some rocks in play, Melissa, I just wanted you to maybe talk a little bit about the game plan here for Team Arsenault, because of course they lost the 1-2 game last night. It's not always easy to recover from losing that game. What do you think they're going to be looking to do here today?
Well, if I know Team Arsenault and all the players on her team, of course they have lots of experience behind them. So we're going to expect them to do exactly the same thing they did yesterday, put a lot of rocks in play and try and continuously put pressure on their oppositions. That's what makes them successful.
Well, and it looks like they're doing that here early, Melissa, as we joined the game in progress in second stones, and it looked like it was maybe heading towards a blank end, but Arsenault put a corner guard up, and Sarah Wark elected not to peel it. And so now we're seeing Team Arsenault second, Sasha Carter trying to draw around it. So could be an example right away, Melissa, of what you were talking about, Team Arsenault looking to put the pressure on Team Wark early.
I think so, and we haven't had the luxury of seeing teamwork play this so far this week, but I think that they're a little bit more on the defensive side. So I think for Team Arsenal, if they've done any scouting, they will have an idea of what kind of game teamwork brings to the table. And like I say, Team Arsenal did nothing wrong yesterday. They played a fantastic game, and they do that by putting the pressure on their opposition. So that's what they're going to be looking to do today.
Yeah, absolutely. You make reference to that game last night. Of course, it was the 1-2 game between Kayla McMillan and Marianne Arsenault. Kayla McMillan was victorious in an extra end, and so as our Czech team said, Kayla McMillan is awaiting the winner of this one tomorrow, and this should be a great game, and the final tomorrow will be a great one too, as we get our first look at Gina Schrader, the third for Marianne Arsenault. And of course, those of you who are familiar with BC curling, you'll recognize all the players underneath Arsenault here in this tournament. Gina Schrader, Sasha Carter, and Renee Simons, all Canadian Scotties winners with Kelly Scott. So those will be names that are familiar to curling fans. And of course, Melissa, curling fans very familiar with the name Marianne Arsenault, five-time Scotties champion who now makes her home in BC. And we've had the chance to watch them a couple times on stream this week, and they've really been playing well. They haven't played a ton together this year, but it seems like they've really gelled as a team.
They really have, and they have their coach here, Jerry Richard, who's really helped them gel as quick as possible. And yes, they haven't played together much this season, but the couple of events they did, they had some success. And it's right now, we've talked about it before, John, it's all about trying to peak right now this week during this event. And I think that's what Marianne Arsenault is going to try and do. They've been playing well thus far.
Absolutely. So we see just a slight mistake there from Kristen Pilot, the third for Sarah Wark. Kristen, of course, a long-time BC women's player. She's been to the Scotties once before with Sarah and once with Patty Kanisevic as well. So a lot of Scotties experience on the Sarah Wark team. At second, they have Carla Thompson, who is also a past BC Scotties champion and also the 2021 BC mixed champion, along with their lead, Amanda Guido, who was also a part of that mixed team. So even though, we talk a lot about the experience on the Arsenault side, and certainly there is an awful lot of it, Melissa, this Sarah Wark team, no stranger to big games as well.
I agree, and what a great combination. Carla Thompson, as we know, has played back end for such a long time, but she is actually a great sweeper, and I'm really enjoying watching her play second. And her and Amanda have been, best friends, and they work so well together. So the addition for Sarah, for these two, I think is just a huge compliment to what Sarah brings to the table as well.
So we'll get our first look at Sarah Wark here, just looking for an open hit and stick. Arsenault, of course, starting this game with hammer by virtue of their better finish in the in the knockout portion of the tournament. And it was important for Sarah Wark to stick that one in the house, and she does. So do you think we'll just see Marianne nose this one, Melissa? Not going to try to roll behind that corner guard?
I think she's going to nose it. A couple of rocks ago, she did try the freeze. She stayed away from the corners and she tried a freeze. She could have even hit then, but she thought she'd give it one try to get, try and get something going and hope for a mistake by teamwork. She didn't get that, and that's fine. She's very happy to now run this end out by getting the blank.
So Arsenault makes no mistake, and Sarah Wark will look to hit this rock out and stay in the rings to force Arsenault to have to make a shot for her blank. Final stone here, Sarah Wark in the first. Just needs an open hit and stick. And she will make no mistake. And so it'll be up to Marianne Arsenault to throw for the blank here. Bit of a tentative start here, Melissa, but that's sometimes to be expected as the teams sort of grow their way into the game here.
I think so, and both teams need to try and feel out what the ice is doing, and it's obviously the ice conditions, as we've mentioned numerous times, have been fantastic this week. But it is, it's a very important game. Obviously, this is the semi-final of the BC Championship, so sometimes you're just going to minimize your risk for the first end, maybe the first couple of ends.
So final stone for Marianne Arsenault, looking for the blank. And she will make no mistake. So we'll put a couple zeros on the board. You're watching the BC Scotties live on cbcsports.ca and Check TV. We'll see you back after this. Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Scotties live from Kamloops, British Columbia. It's women's semi-final action between Team Wark and Team Arsenault. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo on the call. And it did seem like, based on what Sarah Wark was saying there, Melissa, she was trying to put that rock in the house. So maybe an opportunity here for Arsenault to get some rocks in play.
Yeah, I know Sarah, and she does like to put that first rock in the top 8, top 4 when she doesn't have hammer. She would rather do that and then cap it later instead of doing it the other way around. So by virtue of that rock coming up short, this is an opportunity now for Renee Simons to get right in behind.
And so a bit of a mistake there for Renee Simons. Hello, curling fans. Welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Scotties live on Check TV. You're watching the women's semifinal here between Team Arsenault and Team Wark. And a nice
Great
shot there
brushing.
from Amanda Guido, and so it's Sarah Wark lying too early without hammer.
I think this is there is a bit of a difference between the game plans, John, for both of these teams. I think Sarah Wark likes to play a little bit more on the defensive side, will take her chances when she's given the opportunity. But as we've mentioned already, Marianne Arsenault loves to play with rocks and play. But as you can tell by her trying to remove that center guard, and obviously that was a bit of a mistake on Renee's first one, she's not willing to take too many chances too soon in this game. So she didn't like the feel of that stone, even though it was her own, and I think she was just maybe trying to drive it into one of the red stones. So a bit of a
Yeah, I would.
mistake there, I think.
Yeah, definitely a pair of mistakes there from Renee Simons, and so this might allow Sarah Wark to get set up without hammer here. Talk a little bit about the paths that both of these teams took to get to this semifinal. Sarah Wark starting out with a big win over Sheila Cowan, 12-5, and then lost back-to-back games, losing to Marianne Arsenault 7-4. Kevin mentioned that off the top of the show, and then followed that up with a loss to Diane Gushalak 7-5. But since then, she's rattled off 3 straight wins, beating Taylor Reese Hansen 9-4. She got revenge on Diane Gushalak, beating her 10-8. And then last night, upsetting the number 1 seed Corinne Brown 8-7 in that 3-4 game. And that's how she's found her way into this semifinal. And for Marianne Arsenault, her only losses, a pair of them, have come to the team that they're hoping to meet in the final tomorrow, Kayla McMillan. Kayla McMillan beating her by an identical 6-5 score in both the A final and the 1-2 game. But Arsenault were winners over Taylor Reese Hansen 10-4, Sarah Wark, as we said, 7-4, and Diane Gushalak 8-6 in that B final. So maybe some confidence here for Arsenault Melissa in that she has already beaten Sarah once in this tournament, and that her only losses have come to the team that's made it to the final.
Yeah, there's definitely two ways to look at this, John. Absolutely. And the one is what you just pointed out. Marianne knows that she's beaten Sarah before and she hopes to do that again. But you have to look at what you just said on the paths to get to this very point. Sarah Wark is on a 3-game winning streak and they're building momentum with every single win that they put on the board. So this is really important for Marianne Arsenault to understand. She's coming off a loss where Sarah's coming off a win. So kind of a different mentality coming into this game, and we'll just see how that plays out from both teams' perspectives.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something to watch for. And of course, Melissa, for people who don't know, you're one of the Curl BC high performance coaches. And what are some things you think, as a longtime coach of the game, that Arsenault would have done in the last sort of 18 hours to bounce back from that difficult loss last night?
Well, I don't think they have really anything to hold their head on, that was bad from that game. They did play fairly well. Sasha herself, as we look at her there, she struggled, a little bit, I would say, not playing the Sasha that we know. But I think they would make some comments on how they would have done some research. They would have tried to figure out how they beat Sarah Wark the first time. They would figure out what they need to do and what they're expecting from Sarah, and then talk with their coach just to decide if they feel like they need to make any changes. And the one change that I'm seeing so far is that we've seen quite a few half shots from Team Arsenault so far this game, and really not in the first time we saw them trying to put the pressure on with the hammer right away, and I feel like they've changed that now to a little bit more of a defensive side. Yes, because they've made some half shots, but simply just gone back to the defensive side of the game, and we'll see if that continues.
So we get a look here at Kristen Pilot's first rock. And they're already lying 2 without hammer, and looks like she's just throwing, I believe, an in-house guard here, looking to put this in the top 12, exactly where Carla Thompson called it.
Amanda trying to drag this one in. They called it a little heavy out of her hand, so they're trying to bring this back as far as they can.
Yeah, I think ideally they would have put it just right beside that United Floors logo in the house there, and it just was sliding a little deep, so Sarah calling the audible to try and get it fully buried around this red one, but was unable to do so. And so Gina Schrader now will have a chance to capitalize and make 2 of these Wark stones go away.
Gina would really like to get the double here, and momentum is swinging onto the Team Wark side right now, so a double here would have been nice, but she hits and rolls in.
So what Sarah was saying there, Melissa, is that she didn't want to give them a corner. And so I guess what she means is if they were to hit and roll off this blue behind that red one, even though it's in the house, it would be an opportunity for Arsenault to freeze, and that rock that's in the top 12 would be a de facto guard. Is that right?
That is correct, yes. So, I mean, they could still play it that way. It'll be very difficult because that rock's so tight, but a hit and roll the other way, as Sarah was indicating, is not a bad thing either. Just want to make sure you keep your shooter in play here.
So it does over curl. Sorry, go ahead,
Yeah,
Melissa.
and you see that, John. That's a really good audible there. You heard Sarah say, keep going, keep going. They didn't want that to be perfectly behind that corner guard, because then it makes Marianne's draw or freeze around that rock in the top 12 even better. And if they ever locked it on, they'd be in some serious trouble if you were Team Wark. So great call there by Sarah and great brushing.
So Gina Schrader once again facing 3 here. Looking to make a hit and roll.
I'd really like to roll this one towards that other red stone. I think for Sarah Wark now, John, she wants to do the complete opposite. She wants to roll away from those 2 red stones, making sure A, she doesn't group her red rocks, but B, she doesn't set up any sort of hit and roll or even a double underneath that red guard that's top 12.
So just looking to keep the force intact is Sarah Wark. She's been lying 3 for most of this end without hammer. She'd love to continue lying 3.
Nice shot by Sarah.
Perfect roll from Sarah.
So it's decision time here now, John, for Marianne Arsenault. I mean, right now you're in a situation where you're probably going to be forced. So this is the one and only chance, I think, that Marianne has a small window to potentially get 2 points, and that is to try and bury this fully behind that red opposition stone. That's in the 12-foot. It's really difficult because you have to try and find a spot where there's not a short run for Sarah Wark or not a freeze or a bump to lie 4. So placement of this stone is critical.
We're there. 8.
Well then, well,
8.
well.
Yeah, we've got weight on our own.
So John, you hear that 8? That is that number that the team is using for communication on the weight of the draw. It's a 10 zone system, so 8 is a zone, and that zone is about back 4 weight. Zone 7 would be about T line, and zone 1, 2, 3 are actually outside of the ring. So it's just a system that teams use for communication, especially when it's loud in a loud environment that you're playing in.
Yeah, so Marianne throwing pretty close to the right weight, but it just did not curl at all, and Sarah will have a chance to lie 4. So could be an early pressure point here for Marianne Arsenault.
Weight, just hard roll your way. We can roll out, that's fine.
Great comment there by Sarah. It doesn't matter if you don't have to make this perfect by any means. The key is there. If you roll out, that's okay too. Of course, you would love to lie 4.
and just gets by that corner guard.
Wow.
I mean, not corner guard, but top house guard. My goodness, looked like Sarah got that started maybe a little bit. They put Carla Thompson on it right away, but as you said, Melissa, she's a good sweeper, and she held that. And so it will be Marianne Arsenault drawing against 4.
The same here, eh?
Perfect. Yeah. It's just the same.
And that's Marianne just conferring with her front end to ensure that the weight here, even though she's taken a different path, that the weight here is exactly the same than what she just threw on her previous shot.
So final stone, Marianne Arsenault in the second,
Little less.
facing 4.
Pretty close.
Sarah Wark counters, needs a piece of the forefoot.
Just clean.
Sweepers seem to like it.
Good sweep.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
And Marianne will like it too, so the veteran is
Nice one. Nice
no
touch.
match for the
Nice
pressure.
weight from both.
Fantastic shot, and she
out
will
of your
put
hand,
one
just
up on the
that way.
board. We'll see Sarah Wark with the hammer for the first time when we come back.
Excessively
You're
nice
watching the
touch.
BC Scotties live on Check.
You wanted to get by. You wanted to get by.
Exactly.
She almost.
Yeah, real tight. Straight, straight, straight. Okay. Good.
Right back here. Looks like 14. It's a 14. Good.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Scotties live from Kamloops, BC. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo as we take in this women's semifinal game between Marianne Arsenault and Sarah Wark. And Melissa, it was a pressure draw for Marianne Arsenault, facing 4 Sarah Wark counters in the second end, but she makes no mistake.
And that just, you know, proves her expertise and her ability to do such a thing under such pressure. You know, John, facing 4 rocks is never easy. Facing 4 rocks in this all-important semifinal game is even that much more difficult. So great on Marianne for making a perfect draw against 4.
And so, Melissa, we see here kind of exactly what you predicted. Sarah Wark seeming to be wanting to play a little bit more defensively. Marianne throws up a center guard with her first one, and Sarah's bringing the play away from it by drawing to the wings.
And I'm not overly surprised. Like I mentioned, I do believe that Sarah does like a little more defensive game, and that center guard was in a pretty good place. I think maybe if it was another couple of feet lighter, we would have seen Sarah Wark try to come around it, but she has the hammer here, as you said, for the first time in this game, and I think she's just going to play it very simple. And the other thing Sarah likes to do is she does like to have hammer in those even ends, so she's probably going to be pretty satisfied here with a blank. But the important thing for Team Wark is if they're going to play this way, they have to make sure that every single shooter that they throw stays in the ring, because if you have one rollout, you know exactly what Marianne Arsenault and her team are going to do.
So we'll see if Carla Thompson can keep this hit and stick train rolling. Too many R's in a row there. I'm gonna
That's a lot of
work on my
R's.
skills. I know, and there we go. It's, what is this, a pirate ship? Anyway, get it, a lot of R's. Anyway, here we go. It's the opportunity you're exactly talking about, Melissa. Sasha Carter now will have the opportunity to draw around the center guard.
And this is the kind of game that Marianne likes, right? Again, I've said it a couple of times. She loves to put the pressure on her opposition. She likes to make those big shots, and she trusts her team also to make shots right down the line. And so this is a huge opportunity now for Sasha just to take advantage of that half shot by her opposition.
Whoa, if you're heavy. Whoa. No. Above the tee. Okay.
And so that will slide just a little deeper than they wanted, I think, Melissa.
Line on that back button.
Probably a foot or so. You heard Marianne saying she wants it above the tee, and they called a 6 originally, which would have been top 4, but it did slide just back button. Not the place you want that rock to stop.
Well, we actually caught Marianne on mic saying there that she's got a line for the back button, and we saw that yesterday too, Melissa, that Sasha just struggled with draw weight a little bit, particularly in the second half of the game yesterday, so might be something worth monitoring here.
Yeah, she really did. That's a really good point. And you know Sasha's going to dig deep and try and get that figured out. But here's a shot by Carla Thompson now. Unfortunately for Carla, you know, an extra couple of feet and that just ticks and rolls off. And that's an unforced error. That was an opportunity for her to put one right on the face of that blue Arsenault stone.
And now it's an opportunity for Marianne Arsenault to put one on the face of that stone, as it's the first rock here for Gina Schrader.
We talk about tolerance a lot, John, and the tolerance on this shot for sure is to try and you know, you can be right on top of your own stone, you can be top 4, even top 8. The key here is line, and they really wanted to get this right behind that center guard, and this one's hanging as well.
I'm guessing that went too deep. We saw a little white balance check there from our crew here. And we have to say our crew has been doing a fantastic job here in Kamloops. Has not been easy with all the reshuffling that's gone on in the lead up to this tournament. And Kevin and Stacy alluded to that before this game got underway. The tournament was canceled and then put back on in a new venue. And our crew has had to be very flexible through all of that. And they've done an awesome job. So our apologies there for the white block, but you know what? We're right here with you the whole way, and Kristen Pilot now is going to try and make the freeze. And Melissa, it seems like this turn is a real bugaboo for a lot of these ladies so far.
Well, and we've seen this before. This isn't the first time we've seen this. If you're a couple of feet heavy, John, as we know, as you come into so on this particular ice, this ice surface is so fantastic. It's very, very fast from hog to hog. It's a 15 and a half, and it curls really nice. But the break point, the point in which the rock makes its turn, or makes its curl, pardon me, it's very, very late. It's even close to the hog line. So if you're a couple feet heavy and you speed through that break point, so to speak, it won't make the curl fast enough and it'll go too deep. And that's what we've seen on the last 2 or 3 rocks so far.
Yeah, we're top 8.
You gotta go. Gotta be top 4.
So here we go. Another opportunity for Marianne Arsenault. A nice little wall of rocks there for her to freeze to. They got to get it there, though.
They really would love this to be top 4. They're trying to drag it as far as they can. The line is fantastic.
Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Nice shot.
And
Great
so we've seen a
brushing.
few, phenomenal brushing from Sasha Carter and Renee Simons. We've seen a few go deep, and Gina maybe just a hair light there, but that rock is still in a great position, Melissa.
Comfy.
Yeah, Sarah's not going to like that rock there by any means, and so this is a good call on her part, just trying to get rid of that center guard and open up the play in the forefoot.
Clean. Yep. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Really gotta go. Gotta push. Gotta push. Gotta push. You gotta go hard. Okay. Whoa. 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 Amanda. Anything? Amanda. 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 Hard. Hard.
And so Kristen Pilock comes across the face of the
Wow.
corner guard, and now all of a sudden things are looking very good for Marianne Arsenault. A mistake there from Kristen.
Yeah, definitely not what Kristen wanted, obviously, and Sarah tried to make an audible to change the call partway down, but unfortunately for Kristen, hits her own stone out off the button, and now a great chance here for Marianne Arsenault to put a ton of pressure on Team Wark.
That's tricky.
Yeah, we're pretty tight.
So good opportunity here for Marianne Arsenault to guard the shot stone.
I think you heard Sasha say we're pretty tight. That means tight to the rings,
Keep going.
but it doesn't look too tight. They're trying more now for curl. Really would love this to get to the center line.
Go, 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 go.
Got to bring that over, and I don't think they'll get it there. So
No.
Sarah Wark will have an opportunity here to get at that blue shot stone, and that's a pretty critical miss here from Marianne. Melissa, I believe if she makes that guard, Sarah's going to be in a lot of trouble to score here.
Oh, I would agree. You know, that rock curls another foot. There's not really much Sarah could do, but maybe try and run something in, and you're running opposition stones in, which is never a good thing. So a miss there for sure by Marianne, and a great opportunity here for Sarah Wark. You can just see all of that blue stone that's just biting the top button.
If we don't, just make sure you guys are talking lots so we get a good result out of this.
And you heard the comment there, John. They're trying to cross the face ideally. There's not a lot of room to do that because Sarah's probably going to throw a little bit of weight on this. So she wants to get inside and double the rocks that way so it doesn't jam on her red stone that's sitting back 8.
Whoa, clean! Yeah, clean! Whoa, yeah, yes! Hard!
Gotta get it by the guard.
And that just takes off on Sarah Wark, and so it is still Marianne Arsenault lying 2 without hammer. Not sure what happened there, Melissa. They seemed pretty happy with it about halfway down, and then it just started to curl.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't really panicking for the first 20 feet, I would say, and I didn't hear much from the brushers to say what the weight was, and that means they probably liked the weight that was thrown and they agreed to the weight that was thrown, but that one definitely took off, and unfortunately Amanda could not hold it. So great chance here now back for Marianne Arsenault. She's probably made a bit of an adjustment on her ice to try and get this one to the center line.
Perfect.
So final stone here from Marianne Arsenault without hammer in the third. She's sitting 2 and looking to put the cap on it.
And then go at the end. Right to center. Line good. Split center.
You hear those numbers, 2.5, 3, that's about halfway between hog line and house, but this one looks like it might over curl a bit.
Just the less weight.
can't find the right spot.
John, I got 16 and a half on that rock.
Yeah, so the ice is quick. We've known that all week. And yeah, we could hear the front end say maybe just a difference of the weight. Marianne was a little heavier on her first one and it stayed straighter longer. And that one over curls a bit. And so Sarah Wark will maybe be able to exhale here if she can navigate this port and hit and stick for one.
Gotta get to nose. Let's make it good.
So final stone here in the third. Sarah Wark facing two Arsenault counters, needs to stick for her one.
Hard, Carla. Whoa, clean, clean, clean. Yep. Hard, hard.
And that will just get by the guard. Will it hang on for shot? It will. So another great sweep from Carla Thompson, and a single point for Sarah Wark goes up on the board. We're tied at 1, but Marianne Arsenault will have the hammer when we come back. You're watching the BC Scotties live on Check. Hello, folks, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Scotties, and wherever you're joining us, whether it's on Check TV, cbcsports.ca, or Curl BC TV, we're thrilled to have you with us. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo as we take in this women's semifinal between Sarah Wark and Marianne Arsenault. And once again, Melissa, it looks like Sarah is trying to bring the play into the house to start this fourth.
Yeah, this is her comfort zone for sure. She puts the first one in, as I mentioned before, likely a corner guard going up by Marianne, and then Sarah will throw another one to the center.
Both of these teams, Melissa, not playing a whole lot on tour this year. Of course, if we remember back to the Olympic trials, Sarah actually had a berth in the pre-trials direct entry event, but with a bit of a different team. It was herself and Kristen Pilotte, but they were playing with Nikki Kaufman and Oisam Wan, and unfortunately didn't have the best week there, going 0-3, and Nikki and Oisam back in their own provincial playdowns, and so Sarah recruiting Carla and Amanda for just really this tournament. And it's obviously been clicking for them well so far, but certainly the deeper you get into the tournament, maybe that lack of experience together as a team might play a factor.
Yeah, it's hard to say, and you know, we talked a lot about the difference between the preliminary round and the playoff round, and usually in the playoff round you just bring your best. It doesn't matter. Everything before that doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to draw on some experiences, you're going to draw on some past times, but what it is all now, it's about what you're doing in the moment, and you try and bring your A game every time you step on the ice during these playoffs, these sudden death games.
I think I like this.
Yeah, no question about it. And as we said off the top, these are two teams with a lot of playoff experience at a number of provincial Scotties championships. So that will certainly play a role. I do think once you get into the playoffs, you hit a different performance state. That's for sure.
Yep. Yep.
And we saw that last night with Marianne. Had a very good game against Kayla McMillan, just coming up short. And even though we didn't watch the game, Sarah Wark knocking off the #1 seed in Corinne Brown has to do a lot for the confidence.
Oh, absolutely. It's, you know, it's never tough knowing that you are playing the defending champion and also the #1 seed coming into this event. So great job for Sarah Wark, as you said, John. Sorry we didn't get a chance to see it, but you can just bet that they would have had to put a perfect performance together to try and beat Corinne Brown, which they did.
Yeah, you can call me Mike if you want. John is basically Mike, really. It's all the same, like John,
It's
Mike,
all one and the
Steve.
same.
Yeah, Edward, you know, it's all the same names. I don't care. I'll respond to Mike if that's what you want to call me. And so nice shot there from Carla Thompson, although again maybe sliding just a little deep. Carla and Amanda, of course, both call Kamloops home, so a home Scotties for them, and that's always got to feel good, and especially right now, Melissa, with everything that's going on, and even in BC, the weather alone, getting to play close to home is a nice advantage, that's for sure.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. It's been a challenge here in our poor province. And this looks great. What a shot.
My. Bingo bango from Sasha Carter, and she gets the Red Rocks off of the center line and off of the forefoot, and things are starting to look up here for Team Arsenault with the hammer.
Sasha will be really happy with that. She did a great cleanup, and importantly, I mean, she didn't get the second redstone out. She pushed it in behind those corner guards, and if the opportunity ever presents itself, Marianne will be able to use that. So, but a good opportunity here now for Sarah Wark and her team to get another rock behind this center guard. The problem with that center guard right now, John, is that it is very, very high.
Yeah, it shouldn't be an issue for Marianne Arsenault to get at the rock in behind it. And that's what we're seeing right here. Sound like they were calling back 12 weight here, so just trying to push this one through the house. So we'll see if Sasha can follow up that excellent big weight hit with one that requires a little bit more of a delicate touch.
Yeah, I would like to get right to the nose of that redstone just thrown by Team Wark. It sounds like she's all over the guard.
All over the guard. This is right to the face of it, and
boy. Not only did she miss that shot, but she didn't even get a chance to cross it and peel it, and look at it there. It's just an absolute perfect guard now on that stone in the top four. So great positioning here now for Sarah Wark and her team, and the ability to continue putting pressure on Team Arsenault.
Yeah, certainly seems like the Arsenault team having a little bit of trouble getting out of the blocks here, and that's actually the opposite of what we saw in the 1-2 game last night. Arsenault came out like gangbusters, and then it was Kayla McMillan who came on in the second half of the game. And maybe we'll see a little bit of opposite performance here today as Team Arsenault tries to get things back on track.
Oh, look at this brushing, dragging this one into the top 12, top 8. That was terrific.
Great sweeping from Thompson and Guido, and that will get right to the top 8. Just fantastic.
Those two never have any fun together, as you
No,
can tell.
never. Yeah. Oh, it's been great. Amanda hasn't played too much at the highest level of the game, and kind of getting a little bit more involved with mixed this year. Of course, they, as we said earlier, went to the Canadian mixed with Sebastian Robillard and Nathan Small, who we saw earlier in the men's event. And they had a good run there, making the championship pool, but unfortunately coming up a little short towards the end of the week. But still a great run, and now Amanda in the semifinals of a BC Scotties. It's a pretty good year if you're just starting to get into competitive curling. She's done a great job.
So nice shot there by Gina Richards. She was able to remove that guard as +1 in the house, but the same shot here now is available for Kristen Pilot, and she's going to try duplicate the exact same shot there, right in behind those two guards, top 12, top 8 even. Doesn't want to be too deep.
Starting to move now. Wall. Yeah, Amanda, hard. Hard line. Really hard line. Really hard line. Yep. Okay, wall. Good.
And another great shot from Kristen Pilot, completely dialed into that draw weight. And now Marianne trying to maybe run this blue one in.
You can just see probably maybe 3/4 of that. So Gina really needs to hit what she can see and try and drive this blue stone right onto the red one and maybe catch the second red one on the way by.
A little bit more out. Yep.
Yep.
Hard. Whoa.
What a shot
Wow,
by
what a
Gina
shot from
Richard.
Gina Richard.
Or Gina Schrader. I keep
Schrader.
calling her Richard. I'm sorry. Gina
Yeah,
Schrader.
Way to go.
You brought me over to the dark side there.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Hey, no, that's okay. That's okay. There's a lot of Richards out here. It's not our fault. Jerry Richard, of course, the coach of Team Arsenault, and we saw Gina's brother Jeff in the men's 1-2 game this morning, and we'll see him again in the men's semifinal tonight. So
Top 8. It's great.
What an amazing shot. That really helped her team for sure.
15-4.
big time, yeah. A lot of pressure from Sarah Wark, and Gina Schrader doing cleanup duty there. So Sarah, though, still has an opportunity to get behind this center guard.
Let's make it really good right on center.
Line's good. Make sure it's here.
Take a look.
Line's good.
Take a look.
Looking to
Cheer,
fully
girls.
bury this behind that guard simply because they don't want to, because it's so far out, you
Hard,
don't want
girls,
to
you
show
gotta
a
get
piece
in.
on either
Go, go,
side.
go.
You want to
Hard,
make
Amanda, scrub,
Team
scrub.
Arsenault have to chase
Hard,
it.
hard, 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 hard,
So
hard, hard.
ideally, well, I don't know if this is even going to get on the rings, unfortunately.
So a big opportunity here for Team Arsenault. They've been chasing all end, but there might be a pot of gold at the end of this rainbow if Marianne can put one in behind here. And you heard Sarah herself say, well, that was pretty bad. So
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake, unforced error by Sarah. So again, the momentum turns over to Marianne Arsenault to try and make a perfect shot here. You know, this is all about we talked about this, John. It's taking advantage of the chances when you are given them. And so this is one now for Marianne, trying to get this fully buried behind that center guard. 2 center guards now.
6. Line's real good. Our weight's real good. 4.
3 is not even in the rings, John.
yeah, got to make sure you're counting here. Got to get
Gotta
it there.
drag this.
Can they get it to shot stone? I think they will, so it's not exactly where they wanted it, but it is Marianne Arsenault lying one with the hammer here in the fourth. So
What a
Marianne
brush
just,
by Renee and Sasha.
yeah, Marianne
Terrific.
just indicating that maybe there was something under it when she was in her delivery. That's sounded like what she said to Gina there, so maybe forcing her to adjust on the fly, and that's why it came up a little short, but still some pressure on Sarah here. This is the draw that she just missed and needs to get in behind this pile for shot stone.
Let's make it.
So final stone, Sarah Wark looking to find the 4-foot without the hammer.
Line's good.
Line's tight. Line's tight.
Stay close, Amanda. Yeah. Yes.
With them saying line only, John, that means the weight is pretty good, if not a little bit on the heavier side.
Got to get
Gotta
by
make sure
that
they get it
blue
by.
one.
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
So
Did it
it'll
hit the
just
back of that
come
blue
off.
stone?
Yeah, it hit the back of the blue stone, and so I think it might be available for Marianne to hit with just that little tip off that blue. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it
there's a
is. You
good
can
look
see
at
there.
it.
Didn't feel like a 14-2.
It's about half open, so
Didn't feel like I threw that much.
might have been the right call, though, to shade the back of that blue. It looked like it had quite a bit of weight, Melissa.
Fine. Okay.
Yeah, but if it gets by there and it completely buries, it just barely touched that blue stone. So I think it would have ended up shot rock in back 4, back 8, and it would have made Marianne's shot here a little bit more difficult. I mean, this shot isn't easy either, don't get me wrong, but if this is fully buried, then she's basically going to be forced to a single point. But this is a really small opening here now for 2 points here for Marianne.
Yep. No.
Oh, look at the brushing.
Great job.
Fantastic.
So Sarah Wark gives Marianne Arsenault a glimpse of light, and she bashes down the door, picks up 2 here in the 4th end. She'll take a 3-1 lead, but Sarah Wark will have the hammer when we come back. You're watching the BC Scotties live on Check.
Five seconds. Line's great.
Think about 6. Yeah, I agree.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the
Just
BC
start to
Scotties live on Check. John Cullen alongside Melissa Scaligo for women's semifinal action between Marianne Arsenault and Sarah Wark.
Keep her going.
And Melissa, it was a fourth end that saw Sarah Wark in control most of the time. And she had a shot on her last to really put the pressure on Marianne without the hammer. Just misses it, opens the door just a little bit for Marianne, and she's able to walk right through it and pick up her two.
Yeah, and you look back at that shot of Sarah's, and you think the weight was pretty close. Yes, it was heavy. It was behind the tee line, but there needed to be some more communication between the front end and Kristen Pilot in the house. They needed to make sure they cleared that blue stone that was top 12 or top 8, and unfortunately just hit the back end of it and rolled to a spot where Marianne had access to it, and she did not make any mistake, throwing the nice hack weight, hit, and stick for two.
Yeah, I think that's certainly something that we've seen at this level, Melissa, that, you know, when you get to a BC Scotties semifinal, those are the little mistakes that can be punished and is often the difference between winning and losing. And we see Marianne, as we said, longtime veteran of the game, 5-time Canadian Scotties champion. She's won 14 provincial titles. You know, she's no stranger to knowing that you have to maximize your opportunities, and she did so there with a really good shot on her last.
She really did, and you and I have been talking about that for the majority of the week, John, that, you know, the opportunities are going to be less and less as you get later in the week, and especially on the weekend. You know, every little inch counts, and unfortunately for Sarah Wark's team, that very, very smidge of an inch made a big difference between potentially stealing or forcing to giving up 2 points.
3, more line, more line.
5, 6, 7.
Okay, wait, you gotta let it bend. You gotta let it bend. You gotta let it bend.
4.
Where?
So Sarah electing not to chase that blue one behind the guard and putting one behind the corner, and this might be the first pure offensive call we've seen from Sarah Wark all game, Melissa.
Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And in fact, you know, Marianne, for the first time I think we've seen as well, came into the rings on Renee's first shot and threw the guard on the second. And unfortunately for Amanda, her corner guard is quite far up. It's just over the hog line. So even if you make a perfect shot around that corner guard, it's likely accessible for Team Arsenault. So we'll just have a look here at Sasha. Probably taking a run at that one in the rings.
Yeah, I believe she is. And speaking of Amanda, I would like to apologize to her and her family for forgetting that she made the Scotties in 2008, playing lead for Allison McInnes. And Melissa, you reminded me that you were also the coach of that team. So that was it was good. It's good to have you in the booth with me, because you can, or remotely with me, because you can remind me, because in 2008, you know, I was basically a kid.
Don't say it.
So I can barely remember those days, you know.
Oh, John.
I know. But Amanda did take quite a bit of time away from the competitive game. Not incorrect in saying that, and she's now back and playing fantastic. So Carla Thompson was also on that Allison McInnes team. Her first trip to the Scotties in 2008, and then she went back as a skip in 2016. And you can see why right there. Fantastic shot from Carla Thompson.
What a terrific shot. You know, Carla is so good at those heavy hit run back. She made that one absolutely perfect. What a great call by Sarah as well. So really nicely done. So chance here for Sasha now to get another one in behind.
Yeah, it doesn't get rid of all the trouble for Sarah Wark, but it's certainly a bit better of a house to look at than it was before.
Most certainly.
So Sasha will be trying to come around that center guard, and we have seen her struggle with draw weight a little bit over the last game or so. So we'll see if she can get dialed in here.
Line's real good. Line's real good. Stay close.
Lots of room.
So they've elected to go around, it looks like. Oh, I see. They're going around the outside kind of the other way, it's a bit difficult maybe to navigate the port between those two red guards, so they're just trying to come around with the out-turn side and get to the forefoot that way. That's a nice draw, nice weight there by Sasha.
Yeah, she has the weight dialed in. She's pulled out the old Motorola Razor, gave it a flip. Called up draw weight right there, but unfortunately it is, I think, a little bit open here for Carla Thompson, so she'll be able to chase after it.
I was actually a bit surprised, John, as we come into the rings there, that maybe Sarah didn't even really look at the potential double. It looks like the Blues are in a double position as well.
Yeah, it's a pretty skinny double. It's there, but I can see why Sarah elected to play this one. Unfortunately, Carla not able to push that blue one out the back of the rings, and so Marianne will have a chance to hit and lie 3 here.
The one thing we've talked about, John, quite a bit this past week is weight selection on hits. And the way the ice curls, you can throw that nice hack to board weight when a rock's almost fully buried and still make a great shot with a roll. That one of Carla's, I think she was looking to throw hack weight, maybe just a bit light, and unfortunately over curled, and this one's really curling as well.
Yeah, that one absolutely took off on them. Wow. And so we talk a lot about that O-word opportunity, and here's another one here for Sarah Wark with the hammer, and would love to get that 2 back that she just gave up.
Yeah, whatever you like. 11.
So 2 options here. I think they could draw, when they might have looked quickly at the draw to come around those 2 corner guards. But when your opposition's lying second and third and you're trying to get 2 back, there's a great chance here now to hit and roll. You know, get rid of one stone and try and roll your red one away from your other red stone in behind those 2 corner guards. This looks very good.
That is exactly what Kristen Pilotte will do, so she continues her great play so far. They are not second shot, but hanging around in a great spot behind that corner guard.
10 and a half. 10 and a half?
Yep.
So I guess the key here for Gina, Melissa, is just to try and get a little bit of separation between the blue stones here.
For sure. Specifically because, pardon me, they're sitting second shot, so ideally they'd like to roll. The thing is, though, John, you have to be careful. If you roll too far to the other side, you want to make sure that your opposition doesn't have a hit and roll another stone in behind those 2 guards. So just trying to be a little careful.
1, 2. Nice.
I think that ends up in a pretty darn good spot.
Yeah, great shot from Gina. So Kristen will have the opportunity to hit the shot stone here, trying to roll a little bit to her right as she throws this rock. And so doesn't get the roll, but does make the hit, and they will lie shot stone.
Was it 10-5? Was it? Yes, yeah. Okay.
So you see Marianne, she said 10-5, just confirming with her brushers there, 10-5 hog to hog. Nice soft control weight.
10.
Would love to hit and stick right there, I think, John. Maybe ever so slightly roll.
Hard, Renee. Hard, Renee.
Key here is to get to the nose of this, though. Got to keep your shooter.
And she will, but she does roll over to that blue stone, and so a chance here for Sarah Wark to make a double and lie 2.
Just high, Sarah. Nice and clean.
One thing you'll notice, Melissa, I've played in many tournaments with Sarah over the years, and she loves the self-talk. She likes to pump herself up, and she likes when her teammates pump her up as well. You could hear Kristen say nice and clean, and some skips don't like to hear that. They like to just get in their own head, but
be careful, watch the roll.
But Sarah loves to hear that affirmation from her team.
Let's make it.
And you can hear her give it to herself as well here. So we'll see if she can make it a double for 2 in the 5th. Double to lie to, rather.
Yes!
Sarah Wark's first stone here.
Yes! Hard!
Throwing this nice and soft.
And she
Great
will get the double.
shot.
I think it was the opposite way she was planning it, but there's always options in curling, and she takes an option there. And I agree, Melissa, you noted that she threw soft weight there, and I love that. I like, you don't always have to throw that bomb. It helped them stay in control, gave them the option of making it the opposite way, and now they lie too.
Well, and I think that's an important point. We've seen Sarah Wark in the past, and obviously you've seen her play or played with her, John, is that she usually likes to throw a lot more weight in it, and for her to bring down that nice soft control weight and make such a great shot like that, that's just very impressive on Sarah Wark's part.
So final stone for Marianne Arsenault, trying to find a roll behind these guards to try not to give up 2. And Renee is on it out of her hand. And she will not get that roll, and so it's going to be an open hit for Sarah Wark to tie this up.
Conservative throw. Good shot. That's good. Yeah, Gino's just a little soft on hers and it just went. Yeah.
Okay, big 2 points. Let's keep it clean down there.
Touch less.
Looks like a ton.
So as Sarah said herself, this is a big 2 points. Final stone here in the 5th end, looking to tie up this Scotties semifinal.
Clean. Just have it clean. Clean, clean.
And she will make no mistake. So Sarah Wark putting 2 back on the board to tie this game up at 3. We're headed to the 5th end break, and we're going to join Stacy, Kevin, and Julie back in the Czech studios. See you soon. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the, well, I mean, we're not in Kamloops, but we're in our home studios here, Melissa. It's been a great half of the game so far, a tie game, about what we expected. Is this sort of what you expected coming into this game as well?
Well, it's been interesting back and forth. I think both teams just not quite as sharp as they want to be. And we've seen Marianne, I feel like, veer off from her game plan just a little bit from what we saw her play yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the last 5 for her.
You know I can hear you, right?
Yes.
Yes, we know you can hear us, Marianne. Speaking of your game plan and the game plan of Sarah as well, it seems like she came out a little bit defensively to start. Is that what you were expecting from her?
Yes. Yeah, they're a more defensive team, certainly, than, say, McMillan. I was, expecting that.
So, Marianne, for you, do you feel like you're playing a little bit more defensive? Because you brought one into the rings, which I would have expected you to throw the center guard.
Well, yeah, we usually start with the first one in the rings, and then see what we get from there. Yeah, we just sort of play along, and then we had a couple of misses early, and then we just had to kind of scramble.
So what is the key here now? You're obviously tied up, but you're going to have the hammer in the 6th end. What's the key for your team here in the second half of the game?
Make more shots.
Sometimes it's just as simple as that. Thanks so much, Marianne.
Yeah.
We'll let you get ready for the 6th end, and we'll take a short break here. We'll be back with the second half of the BC Scotties semifinal. You're watching live on Check. All right, welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Scotties live here on Check TV and CBCSports.ca. Melissa Saligo and John Cullen with you once again as we are preparing for the second half of this game. It is a 3-3 tie. We heard from Marianne that for her team, the key is just to make more shots. Is that what you're seeing as well, Melissa?
Well, I think so. And, we saw their game. They played before. They made a ton of shots. What's happening right now is they're making a lot of half shots, and that's really hurting them. Marianne has a specific game plan, even though she didn't want to agree with me. She does have a specific game plan, in my opinion, and it's to be offensive. And you can't do that if you're only making half shots. And Sarah Wark, we know she likes to play defensive, so she's really happy where she is right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's sometimes, in a tie game, we can make the comment that one team is happier with the tie than the other. Maybe they had to scratch and claw for that tie, but it actually seems like both teams are executing their game plan with hammer, and in both the case of Marianne and Sarah, capitalizing on their opportunities when they get them as well.
I think so too, and that's really, really important. And for this last half of the game, obviously, each team is going to go after each other in a different way. And I think for Team Arsenault right now with hammer in this sixth end, you're going to see if the rock comes in. I'm going to assume that they're going to throw a corner guard. They're going to want to try and get a deuce back really quickly here in the first couple of ends of this last half.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Melissa, for sure. And like I said earlier in the game, we saw last night Arsenault got off to a hot start, and then it was Kayla McMillan that was able to catch up to her in the second half of the game. And I'm sure Marianne and her team will be looking to tap into that sort of mojo as well here. And Sarah's playing well. She's playing really good. We've talked a lot about Marianne's game plan. What do you see from the Wark side of things? Is it just more of the same, staying as defensive as they like and trying to stay in control, or do you think we maybe see them switch it up a little bit here in the second half? Team Sarah Wark from the Abbotsford Curling Club against Team Arsenault from Kelowna, and it is a 3-3 tie here, and Arsenault will have the hammer here in the sixth. So as you predicted, Melissa, Sarah Wark throwing the first one in the rings. Unfortunately, Amanda Guido sliding a little bit far there.
And, it's in the rings, and that's a good thing. But if you want to be very picky, I guess is the word I would use, that rock has to be above the tee line. It needs to be top 8 or even top 4, because I think if you know your opposition, you know that they are going to throw the corner guard. So it's really important for Amanda to place that rock in the right spot. So this is a great chance now for the corner guard to go up. And now for Sarah Wark, she's likely going to have to throw her next rock probably into the rings. You heard her say 3, that's tight to the rings.
Yeah.
If it slips in, that's okay too. She just doesn't want to be high.
It's good.
41.
3.
Line's great.
3.
3 for sure.
2.5, 3.
Yeah, you're right, Melissa. I haven't seen Amanda curl too much, but it's certainly tough to find a shot of her without a smile on her face. Over there, seeming just thrilled that when she let it go, she knew that the weight was maybe a little better than her first one.
17.
Yeah, Amanda's fantastic. She's always enjoys herself, as you can see there.
The little Guido shimmy there. I love it. So unfortunately, though, for her, as you said, Melissa, she didn't want to come up too short, and she did look like she put that maybe about 4 feet shorter than she was anticipating.
I think so. So great chance here now for Renee. Would love to get this fully buried behind the corner guard she just threw. And I think this was going to come up a little light as well.
And she will. So we've seen this a few times before, Melissa, and this is something, you and I are both competitive curlers, and especially nowadays, all these teams on tour, they play 8 ends most of the time, and usually in an 8-end game, you don't take a break. And so sometimes you just, you have to make that adjustment where, okay, now not only do we get a break, but because of TV, the break's a little bit longer than they're used to. Throughout the week, they would have a 5-minute fifth end break. Today, they get a 7 or an 8-minute break because of TV. And so sometimes you get that break, you sort of sit in the warm, nice part of the curling club, and you think about your dreams that exist outside of curling for a few minutes, and it can be sometimes hard to adjust when you come back for the sixth. Is that true? I know for me, that was always something. My team actually would stay in the arena. We'd stay in the cold part sometimes just to keep that focus.
And I agree with that comment. I like
We
that
can
a
deal.
lot. I like the fact that you guys kept into the cold because you don't want your body temperature fluctuating, obviously, from going from hot to cold, but you're not in there overly long. But the key is, you know, I think for both teams, you know, it is their first time playing this weekend with the TV involved and with the breaks that are involved, but they've both been there before as well. So they do know how to make the adjustments, how to have those conversations. And I think right now it's just a matter of being a little bit sharper on both sides of the table.
And a great shot there from Sasha Carter to get rid of all of the Wark stones, just as you're talking about execution. Doing a phenomenal job there. But we've seen this before. It's been, the ends have been fairly well set up for Team Wark. We've seen Marianne Arsenault's team make a nice double or a nice hit, but it's still, the house looks pretty good for Sarah Wark, and that's the situation once again here.
So in fairness, John, I do have to say that the shot there was the peel. She was peeling the guard, and for that was a plan B. But that's fine. It was a fantastic plan B. Don't get me wrong. But it does leave the guard up there, and now it gives Sarah a great chance here to try and get one better buried behind it.
Okay.
And so just a little bit light.
What's interesting, John, is you and I have talked numerous times because we've obviously commentated a lot of games so far this week, and every time we've come back in the sixth end, if you remember, we're always talking about rocks being heavy. This is the first time, I think, in all the games we've done that we've actually seen rocks come up light after they come into the sixth end.
Yeah, I totally hear that, Melissa, for sure, and it's something we've talked about. For those of you who are maybe new to curling or don't curl at all, usually in the fifth end break, the ice is swept and not with the traditional curling brooms that you're used to, but it's run over with a big chamois in between the break, and so sometimes that can speed up the ice. And I just wonder, Melissa, if that's a case of teams noticing that. I find sometimes when you play it can speed up a little bit more than other times. Just sort of depends on the club and how the ice is being maintained and all that kind of thing. And so I think it has been something that's maybe noticeable, and so maybe the two teams kind of acknowledging that, but they're just underthrowing them a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think the other point maybe is as well is that this is the only game out there. In all the other times, of course, that we've been commentating, we've had games on either sheet, so the heat stays out there for longer with all those bodies. So that's also a different factor here.
Yeah, no question. So we get our first look at Kristen Pilotte here in the sixth end.
11.
And she'd love for that to stick around. And I believe it does.
Sarah giving some feedback. 11 seconds hog to hog. Two options here for Gina Schrader. Obviously, they could draw around their own corner guard, which they've elected to do. They could also, there's a slight stagger on those two red stones that are covering the forefoot. They could come that way as well. Based on conversation, this is the one they've elected to do. As long as it stays above the tee line. Trying to get it buried though. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, very nice shot there from Gina Schrader. And a good look at it there. It is almost fully buried. Though I do think with how much the ice is curling, Kristen Pilotte should have an opportunity to get at it.
I think so.
Amanda, go. Amanda. Push. All the way, Amanda. You gotta push
So
hard.
trying to get Amanda Guido to bring this over.
Really hard for a piece, Amanda. Really go.
It was hanging on the center line for quite a while there, so they're just trying to get a piece, and great brushing by Amanda. Will they get it out?
They will. So great throw there from Kristen Pilotte. It took a while to curl, but Amanda Guido was able to carve it over, and it is still Wark lying one without hammer, though Arsenault will have an opportunity to get buried behind this guard.
We got weight. 7.
Lots of room. Ton of room.
Ton of weight too.
Okay.
Yeah, we can take it back.
Yeah, this looks really heavy coming into the house here.
Yeah, go ahead, Renee.
Yeah, trying to bring it back now on top of that other red stone if they can. Plan B there. Not a bad spot.
Yeah, I got caught a little in between the plan A and the plan B.
Right.
So they didn't have it. They would have loved it above the tee line buried and couldn't get it there. And then their plan B is to freeze it. And so they're just kind of in the middle of those two.
Nose is okay. You got it.
I like the audible on that because they brought that back enough that if
12.5.
Sarah were to choose to freeze to it, there'd be another room for a rock on top. But it looks like Sarah's going to elect to hit it.
We want to get
I think
some
that's, you can see pretty much all of it, I would say. Maybe flip inside a little under. Put a lot of pressure on Team Arsenault.
So first stone here for Sarah Wark in the 6th end. Looking for a hit and maybe even a little inside roll.
Carla.
Carla! Go, Carla! Hard, Carla, you gotta keep going.
And they're trying
You
to
gotta go a
bring
long
this
way.
over.
Go, Carla, go, 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 go.
This is
Keep
way
going,
out
Carla,
there.
Keep going, keep going.
Watch the roll.
Okay, sir.
We'll let you know what happened in a second here.
11.
Okay, so there we go. We've got Arsenault lying one with hammer here, and that's an unfortunate miss for Sarah Wark. Looked like maybe a little bit more weight than we were expecting.
Yeah, I heard the number 10.5, I believe, and that's like, again, that weight that Sarah's been throwing very, very well, but I do believe you're right, John. Just a little extra on that, and it took a long time. You saw her when she released it as well. Just a slight backhand on the release, so it will run a lot straighter, longer, and Carla, unfortunately, wasn't able to get it to come over.
I'll put 2 on Gina's.
Yep. I do think so.
So a chance for Marianne Arsenault to lie two with hammer.
We should be there. 7.
Oh, that.
Just want to clean it. Yeah. We're
You
to
can hear
it.
the ladies saying this is at least an 8th. That's a back
Definitely.
4 at best. Really doesn't want to be this heavy.
No,
We're way back.
no, would have loved to be in front of that tee line and don't want to bump that very far. I think it's still blue sitting two, but fairly
think
easy
so.
shot here for Sarah. You can hear that sigh from Marianne Arsenault. Sarah will have options here, Melissa. I think as long as she's anywhere in front of those blues and is shot, it's going to be very difficult for Marianne to score more than one.
Yeah, that was just
That was
such a
14 feet,
huge
no brush.
opening, I think, for Marianne, and unfortunately for her, comes about 5 feet heavy. So great chance here now for Sarah Wark, as you say, John, anywhere in front of that blue stone. I think if you want to make sure you eliminate those two blue stones, you just lock it right on.
Everybody's going deep here. Yes.
So final stone here for Sarah Wark. Arsenault is sitting two, but Wark will have the opportunity to
Careful.
Room. Lots of
put
room
on the
still.
force.
Room still. Lots
Yeah,
of
and I think
room.
she's actually elected to just
Line's good. Getting better.
draw straight around this on her own to the 4 foot. Oh, no, I hear it now. Kristen giving us the audible right to the face.
Just do it. Just do it.
And that ensures that those two blue rocks won't count.
Great shot from Sarah. And yeah, I think you were right,
Really
Melissa.
nice.
I think Sarah knew that if she was ahead of the tee line, might be an opportunity to steal, but if she was a little bit heavier, she could come to the back one, and she did just that. And so now a great force from Sarah Wark, and Marianne is just going to have to draw the 4-foot for one.
Same.
It's a touch less.
So needs half of the
Close to the
4-foot here,
same,
does
Gina.
Marianne
It really
Arsenault
needs
with
to
her
curl a
last
lot.
in the 6th. And the sweepers think it might be a little bit heavy. She was heavy on her first.
No backing.
Does not want to repeat that mistake. And she does not, so the rock will stop in time right on the tee line. So Marianne Arsenault will put one on the board, but Sarah Wark will have the hammer when we come back. You're watching continuing coverage of the BC Scotties live on Check.
Calories don't even count. It's not just like you weren't even here. It's like I wasn't even here.
Yeah, you're good. Line space.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the
Line
BC
straight.
Scotties live on Check and
don't think it's as tight as it
CBCSports.ca.
Over curling.
John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo. Once again, it is the women's semifinal between
shot.
Sarah Wark and Marianne Arsenault, both of them vying for a spot in the final tomorrow against Kayla McMillan. And Melissa, another cagey 6th end there, we could say, as again, opportunities for both teams. And in the end, Marianne Arsenault unable to capitalize with hammer and getting forced to one.
Well, I feel a little bit bad, John. I gotta be honest. I kind of feel like I jinxed them. I was saying that the rocks were coming up short, and then the last 5 or 6 rocks were heavy. So I'll take some responsibility for that. But anyway, Marianne, as you say, on her first had a chance to put it above the tee line and set herself up for a deuce, and unfortunately slipped in deep. And Sarah Wark didn't make any mistake on her last, and therefore it was a force to one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a back and forth game. We've seen it from both sides as Amanda Guido makes a really nice draw there behind that center guard. And so we might see a a few more rocks in play this end. Not that there hasn't been rocks in play, Melissa, but we haven't had one of those really clustered ends around the center so far, and that's been mostly by design for Sarah Wark as she continues to manage the game fairly defensively.
Yeah, I agree, John. And now it's time. I think that she's going to try and find a way to get her deuce if she can. It is the 7th end, and she would be okay here with a blank as well. She's down 1 with the hammer. If she happened to get a blank this end, that wouldn't be the worst thing because she could have hammer in the important 8th and even end. But she's going to try for the first couple of rocks to try and set herself up in a good position.
So as we watch Amanda Guido attempt to come in the house here once again, I will give you and the fans watching at home a little update on the numbers. And not surprising given how close our game is, but it's a razor-thin margin in team percentages, Melissa. After 6 ends, we have Marianne Arsenault, her entire team sitting at 74.5%, and Sarah Wark literally 1 percentage point below, sitting at 73.5%. So that gives you, if the scoreboard wasn't giving you an indication of how tight this game was, certainly the percentages do.
Wow, that is very, very close.
And I can even do you one better, Melissa. Both Marianne Arsenault and Sarah Wark are curling 75%, and both Gina Schrader and Kristen Pilotte are curling exactly 81.25%. So that's truly how even it is. Yeah, you don't usually see after 6th end a dead heat between the thirds and skips on both teams, but that's where we're at right now. And Gina and Kristen tied for the top percentages so far in this game, which just goes to show you how good both of those thirds are. Usually we don't see the third in the percentage lead. So been a great game for both of them.
Yeah, and that is so nice to see. So just to recap a little bit here, John, if we, just as we were doing those numbers, unfortunately for Amanda Guido, she did miss her second shot. She was trying to hit that Arsenault stone. So with that miss, it gave Team Arsenault an opportunity to throw a second guard. They're not shot rock, but they're going to be very happy if they could ever force Sarah Rock to take one here in 7. So that's why the second guard was thrown.
Carla just missing the double peel there, and we've talked about this all week that, teams now very keenly aware of the analytics and play the scoreboard even more than they ever did before. And so, as you said, Arsenault, if they could get a force here, they would be tied with the hammer in 8. And that's a position that a lot of teams work the whole game to get to. Very true. And that's exactly what you want to do. And again, the analytics have been a huge part of our game in the last number of years. And, they collect a lot of data to give us those information. Of course, it's all about execution once you get on the ice and what you do with it. But, you're gonna try and, we talked about game plan and end plans as well, and that's what you're going to try and do. You're going to try and get yourself into a position that you have been planning for. And so for Marianne Arsenault, if she could get tied with hammer in 8, I'm pretty sure that was on her agenda. No question about it. Makes me think about the old agendas back in my school days. I don't know, did you ever grow up in the era of the hologram agenda? We always had like a hologram on the front of our agenda. I always thought that was pretty cool.
No.
Okay. Just plain paper back then, eh?
Wow, if you age me right now, it's not
I'm
going
not
to be
gonna
good.
No, I'm not. I just, some of us grew up with holograms on the front of our agendas. That's all I'm saying.
Watch the top one.
So looking for a double peel here, and they will mostly get it. Won't get them both completely out, but I don't think that blue rock is in too dangerous of a position for Sarah.
No, and you see that they've pumped that other bluestone in the rings, but I don't think that's a problem yet. The key there is they wanted to clear up the front, and that's exactly what Carla did. It gets a little bit more trickier now. You're going to have to throw a double somewhere, I think. If Gina makes this shot, you're going to have to throw a double to try and even keep the blank alive. So we'll see what Gina does here.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about Marianne loving to have the hammer in the 8th end, and I'm sure Sarah would too. Sarah likes to blank anytime, so especially in the 7th end, she'd love to do that and keep the hammer in the evens. And so a nice shot from Gina to just clean pick that out. And now I do wonder if Sarah will have Kristen chase this double here.
Actually, let's play this. Just 10. Here's perfect.
So that is what she's having Kristen do here. Try to get both of these blue stones out.
Yeah, nice 10 weight again, that nice soft weight.
Whoa.
Ensure that your shooter tries to stick around.
Amanda, go. Every inch, Amanda. Every inch for a piece.
Gotta go really hard.
This has got to curl, John.
Amanda. Anything you got, Carla.
Wow.
Really go, really go.
Oh dear.
Just leave them there.
And so a rare miss from Kristen Pilot there as she will just only get an inch or so of that blue rock and can't push it out of the rings. So an opportunity here for Marianne, although I guess unfortunately, Melissa, when you get a miss on third rocks from the other team, you'd hope it would have your rocks in a bit better of a position than this one. It still doesn't look like a real threat to steal here for Marianne.
No, I don't think so. And Marianne probably is
Okay, we
thinking
got
along
room.
those same
7.
lines. So she's going to try and find a way.
7.
If she could put this rock even, you know, as long as it's in the rings, top 8, top 12, somewhere like that, she's going to spend the rest of this end trying to force Team Wark to take a single point here.
Got 4.
You hear 4 foot. They don't really want that deep.
And so that will be right on the tee line. So it's a bit of a wall of blues here. If Kristen can maybe move some of these around, it might be an opportunity to force Marianne into a jam.
10.
You said that was 10-8.
I think if I was Sarah Wark, I'd be tempted. I know you really want to make the double, so if her goal here is to blank, for sure, play the double. But the other option, like you were saying with that wall of blue, is to hit just the inside of this first blue one and roll right in front of the other blue one.
Hard, 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 hard.
Yeah, I get it that you're facing 3, but it also feels like, you know, even Kristen could have come down with like back line, just sort of tapped that blue one back and have all 3 blues in a row. And now all of a sudden Marianne is left with a tough decision.
The way I threw it at the broom, I was making those all week.
I mean, if we know she's probably going to hit and flop.
So
in
that's
front,
just
right?
like
So if
this
we could-
much.
A little bit,
Right?
yeah.
Like, it's just not doing that last little grab, which makes sense.
So Marianne will have the opportunity here to
Just flop sash this way a little bit.
Okay.
hit and lie 3. And we can hear there, she just wants to roll slightly in the direction of Sasha Carter, so to the left as you're looking at it.
Clean,
9.5.
clean. Whoa.
Marianne
Would love to
wants
stick this
stick
one
in the-
around.
Yeah, she wants a stick in the rings for sure here. Oh boy.
That'll roll out. We were in sync there again, Melissa, both thinking the exact same thing. And yeah, now an opportunity here for Sarah to double these 2 blues and force a blank.
Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think it was 9.5.
You heard the brushers there say it was 9.5, John. That was probably more than Marianne was throwing, and she's actually questioning whether it was 9.5. She said it felt good out of her hand. So, you know, just some communication there for sure, but I am a little bit surprised about this call by Sarah Wark.
Okay, what am I throwing here? Okay. On the
Me
15
too.
side?
The double doesn't seem that hard. I mean, I
It's
know
back
they're
4.
they're level, but
It's
you
back
could still
4.
get both of them, I think, with enough weight, and Sarah can certainly throw that weight. But I guess here, Melissa, you have a couple options. You can freeze right on the face of this blue that's in the 4-foot, or you could even be off to the side of it a little bit and it would jam on that other blue. So maybe that's what Sarah's thinking.
Carla's side. Let's make it.
Yeah, I think if Sarah feels like, you know, she could play the double, and we all know that she can throw the weight to make the double, but I think you're right, John. If she gets this in a good spot, there is a chance either to get 2, but if Marianne takes a pass at it and, you know, kind of blows out everything, then the blank is still alive that way as well. So there's 2 ways to get the blank here.
Just do it.
Line's great, no
But
bump.
looking
no
for a
bump.
perfect freeze.
do
That's the
it.
key here for Sarah
Go,
Wark.
Amanda. Hard, Amanda.
Weight looks
Pass,
really
right
good.
across. Go, 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 go. Right up, right up, right up.
Nice
Can they get
shot.
it there? They can. Perfect weight from Sarah Wark, but unfortunately she would have
Wonderful.
loved to do exactly that freeze, but just on the other side of the rock,
Right.
because then that way it would be jamming on that
Might be able
blue.
to
And
hang the shooter.
I think Marianne should be able to get rid of both
Yeah,
of
even
these.
close to nose, like just coming into nose.
What's that?
She talked about hitting
I think high one,
nose, John. I would think that she needs to hit it maybe
See if we can
3/4
save the
at least on the broom side to make sure that red spills out, depending on what the kind of weight she's elected to throw.
Yeah, I think she was talking about wanting to stick her shooter around if she could to force Sarah Wark. So we'll see if Marianne Arsenault can do that. Final stone here for her in the 7th.
Hard!
Sasha Carter trying to hold this. Will that red go?
Dandy.
Oh,
will.
wonderful shot.
Great shot from Marianne Arsenault. She does stick the shooter, but unfortunately it looks like it rolled to a spot where Sarah might be able to get rid of everything.
But it's chancy.
And Marianne doing our job for us. That's exactly right. There is a blank there, but it is, as she says, chancy. And we're not talking about Pokemon there, folks. We are just simply talking about taking our chances.
Let's just make it good.
So I guess, Melissa, I think here Sarah just needs to hit half a rock or less on the outside of this one.
I think so. I think that second, the one that she's about to hit will just, it'll jam, but it'll spin back. I think with enough weight here, she'll get all of these going. I didn't see her weight call, but I'm sure this will have a little bit of speed on it. A little bit more than what
believe.
she's been throwing.
I believe it will. So here we go. Sarah
There you
Wark
go.
looking for a chancy blank here in the 7th. And she will make no mistake. So great shot from Sarah Wark. She will keep that all-important hammer in the 8th end. But Marianne Arsenault still leads by 1. You're watching the BC Scotties semifinal live on Check.
Okay, line's good.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Scotties live here on Check. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo as we take in the BC Scotties semi-final. Abbotsford's Sarah Wark up against Kelowna's Mary Ann Arsenault. And Melissa looked a few different times like we may find a score in the seventh end, but in the end we both booked our tickets to Blanksville, and Sarah Wark will have the hammer in this all-important eighth.
Yeah, definitely there was an opportunity there, I think, for quite a while, actually, for the force to be on, but that fantastic shot by Sarah Wark on her first one to freeze on top of that blue Arsenault stone, and Marianne Arsenault making no mistake, but with doing that, she peeled out both a red and blue, but unfortunately grouped her two blue stones together and gave Sarah Wark a shot that she is very familiar with, and that is a double and roll out for the blank.
Really hard. Okay, whoa, whoa. Good. 14.
So once again, we are seeing Sarah pivot to a bit more of an offensive strategy here, putting her first one around the center guard. And I guess, Melissa, with this being the eighth end, that's no surprise. Sarah Wark would love to score here.
Definitely. She, if she gets her single, that's one thing, but she really wants to get a deuce on the board here in the eighth end with hammer. So she's going to try and pull out some stops here, especially for the first half of this end, and just see how it plays out, and she can get her rocks in a great position to set herself up.
A lot of room. You can't be heavy on this line.
No, we're not heavy.
Keep going, Sash. Keep going. Curl, 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 curl.
So Renee Simons looking to come right to the face of that Amanda Guido stone, and she makes no mistake. Phenomenal shot there from Renee. Of course, she was a member of that 2005 Kelly Scotties team that won it all with, 2006 rather, that won it all with Gina and Sasha and Skip Kelly Scott. And kind of similar to Amanda, she took some time off the game, and it's great to see her back out here playing for a BC Scotties title.
Back 8. Yeah, Chris, go. Back 8. Yeah, back 12.
So this definitely has some extra weight, and very typical of what we've seen so far. When you throw that few extra feet of weight, it just runs straight, John, and unfortunately that one for Amanda does not find the curl.
Yeah, we talked about it in the earlier game that it's a bit tricky because once it catches the curl, it also slows down. So if you're just a little bit heavier, not only does it not curl as much because it's heavier, but it also doesn't slow down because it doesn't catch that curl. And so it's ice that you really need to lock in to draw weight on. And I think it's been a pretty consistent theme this week that the team that's able to lock in to draw weight better has had a lot more success.
We need a 4 or 5. No. Whoa.
So
again, this one has a little extra weight as well. They're saying 5-6, so that's definitely, don't want to bounce off if they can help it. And it does.
So a little bounce, yeah, and this will give Carla Thompson the opportunity to get inside here. And that was an exact example of what we were just talking about, Sasha, just a little bit heavy, and we did see when it curled at the end, it slowed down, but just not enough.
Okay, well then, well then, well then, whoa!
So big opportunity here for Carla Thompson.
Good shot, Carla.
10-7.
And she will get rid of it. They would have liked to roll inside there, I think, Melissa, but that's not in too bad of a spot.
I think so too. I think it isn't a, it just roll another half foot under would have been ideal, but Marianne cannot leave that rock there, so she will have to deal with it. And just getting back to the draw weight, John, just as you were talking.
I like that better.
Okay, just
I'm going to listen to see what they have decide here.
9.5.
9.5.
They're talking about taking a run at it, hitting about half a stone into the blue and trying to unlock that red stone that's back four, and maybe even push it out of the rings if they can. So big shot here for Sasha Carter. And I'll come back to my thought on the draw weight on maybe the next one.
So Sasha Carter looking to get rid of 2 reds here. And she will unfortunately miss that cluster of rocks. So it is Sarah Wark lying one with hammer. Now finish your thought, Melissa.
Almost 3/4.
I just want to say when you're throwing a draw
Here.
and the break
We
point
don't
is
have
at
to get
about the
rid of
hog
this,
line
but
or
we can
later,
punch
right?
it.
You have to make sure that
Do
you
you like
throw
that?
enough to get there and then let the sweepers sweep it from the hog line in. That's the
13,
key. Is it
13
has to
and a
slow
half.
down
Well,
before it
13.
gets to
I
the
like
hog
13.
line. Sorry, I wanted to let Sarah have her conversation there.
Yep.
Yeah, I teed you up at the wrong time. How could I know? How could I know that this was going to be
got
the
it.
first time this game that Sarah communicated with the person in the hat? It's the commentator's curse, they call it, I think.
Clean.
So Carla Thompson just looking to throw a heavy draw here and
Chris, push. Hard, Chris.
see if she can
Yeah, looking at
get
a
inside
13.
here.
Really gotta go, Chris. Really gotta go. Amanda,
Kristen
second one.
really trying to get this to curl as much as possible.
Push, 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 push. That's great, Carla.
Yeah, pretty good shot there from Carla Thompson. Just a lot of reds starting to hang around here.
Yeah, Marianne's going to have a quick look here and be very, very careful. I'd be very concerned about leaving too many of those red stones lying around.
10, she said, yeah.
Gina Schrader looking to hit and roll towards the center.
Hard. Little up. Whoa. Whoa, Sash.
I think this is a smart call, John. I would be very concerned, you know, with leaving too much around, but unfortunately for Gina, it does roll out. Not what she wanted.
Yeah, when you don't have the hammer, you certainly get concerned with leaving too many reds in
We're in
play.
a pretty good spot right now.
Okay.
I'm just wondering if we don't throw that same shot with the 13 and just try and separate these.
Okay.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
It came in here really nice. You can just get across the face a little bit and
Okay.
got it. 13.
7/8.
So we hear from Sarah there, wants Kristen Pilot to throw basically the same weight that Carla Thompson threw, just trying to coax this blue rock off the front of the red one. And if she's able to do that, she's going to have 3 reds all spread out in the house.
Close.
Close.
Yeah, again, a nice back 8, back 12-foot weight. Maybe even back line here to move some things around.
Hard, Carla. Every inch. Push hard, Carla. Hard.
Got to curl here a little.
Would love for
Not
that
sure why
red to
no
sit
one's there
down.
to sweep that red one. I'm like, sweep.
So we heard there from Sarah it was a 12, so a full second
4.
faster than she was expecting it from Kristen, and we saw that in the result. Just didn't curl as much as they were
Yes.
hoping, and so now it's Marianne Arsenault sitting 1 without hammer.
And I think they're sitting first and third, if I'm not mistaken. I think that blue one might be out counting the 2 reds. We'd have to get another overhead shot later. But great chance here now for Gina Schrader. Would love to throw this again, looking for above the tee line here.
We gotta go for weight. Okay.
And that tells us what we need to know. Sasha,
6. Line's good.
well, 6 is pretty good. 6 is top 8.
No. Curl. Just top 4, top 4.
Got to be second shot here. Would love to be fully buried.
Very nice. That girl, Gina.
Nice shot.
Very nice shot from Gina Schrader. So it is Marianne Arsenault lying 2 without hammer.
And just having a quick look, John, I do think that blue one on the right is out counting the,
Can we, like,
the
does that
red
blue
stone at
catch
the back.
over there?
That may come into play later.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, you can't see much of that stone, that's for sure. It's a great shot by Gina Schrader.
Yeah, we might get the trip. You gotta hit here. Do you want that?
I have. Pardon?
10 won't help us.
Why?
If you're throwing at it, you got to throw at it.
Okay.
Unless you're thinking just get rid of this one and roll here.
Well, I was kind of thinking that, like, even if we just nudge that other one. But I mean, if I throw at it, then if I rip the guard, that's fine, right?
Yeah, ripping the guard's totally fine. I don't even know, like, you have to just get by. No, you can make it.
We have lots of time.
I don't know that it's... Yeah?
I don't think you can see much of that blue stone, John.
No, I think if you were playing the triple, you'd pretty much be trying to hit what you can
Timeout.
see. So they are going to take a timeout here. I'm not positive that the triple's even there. You could make the thin double for sure, but we'll see what they discuss here in the timeout.
Oh, I don't think it is there. I didn't realize
pretty
how little.
No, I don't
down here.
think it
Yeah,
is
I didn't
either.
realize how much you could see.
I agree
Yeah,
with you, Sarah.
There's not enough room to get by, for sure. There's not. Like I don't mind trying to get to the nose there, and leave us there. They have to throw at it, right? Like if we roll away, they're still
wondering,
shot.
though, like, if we do that, like, does it just kill the end, right? Like, if...
I
are
think we can
cutting
still get
ourselves
two
down?
here. I think we can still get two here, for sure. It would be very, very, very tight.
Yeah. You have to throw it pretty hard, I guess. Even like
Especially for
double.
this double.
Yeah, I'm
But
thinking.
if you hit nose, then she nose is on top of you. You could play the red into the blue in.
No.
But you have that at some point.
I guess we do have to do nose, because if we roll over and she wraps again, then
Yeah. We can make them chase us a little bit if we nose. What kind of weight do you like?
Can we get there with nose? Or get there to nose?
Yeah, I think we can.
Okay.
It'll come up hard and it's a long guard.
Yeah.
But like 13 and a half.
That was a 12?
11.
So it sounds like their decision, Melissa, is just to throw another sort of controlled weight, kind of a backline hack weight shot, come around this guard and try to nose that Marianne Arsenault stone in the top 4 foot. Is this what you see as well?
Looks way better from down here.
I think so. Once Sarah had a look at it, you can't really see that rock that they're about to play the hit on, and there's no way that the triple was there. It's just way too difficult because you'd have to throw, normal to peel weight. So this is a great call and a great conversation by Team Wark. So Kristen wants to throw about a second slower, I guess, so 13 seconds hog to hog, which is what she was trying to play on her first.
Clean.
And try and curl past that guard and get to the nose of that blue stone.
Got to get by that guard, though. Got to get by the guard, and they will not. Just dives at the end. And so now it's
Not sure what
Marianne
happened
Arsenault
there.
lying to without hammer. Yeah, it just looked like it took off on them, and
I think so, eh?
big opportunity now for Marianne. If she can put a guard up here, Melissa, this is some trouble for Sarah.
Yeah, I like
I guess the only issue with a guard here, Melissa, is that maybe Sarah could run in that red stone that we're looking at on the left.
That's what I'm thinking. I actually think you want to come right in on top of that stone, just where Gina put her broom. If you throw another guard, I'm not sure guards are really going to help you. Sarah, we know, can make those in-offs or the slash doubles all day long. So if you could ever put this in, into the top 12, be second shot for sure.
Nice. Same as it's up in.
It will put a lot more pressure on to Sarah Wark.
So that is indeed what Marianne Arsenault will try to do. Freeze down on her own, and if she
Just a
does, she'll be
4-5.
sitting 3 without hammer.
Clean it hard.
I just feel like we're
Straight.
going to need to curl it.
Straight. Line's good. You
We
can
hear
curl
the
now. You
4-5.
can curl.
Weight sounds pretty good.
Yep.
Curl.
Would love to get in there for third shot if they can. Carter and Simons on the brush. Can they get it there? Can they get it there?
Good sweep.
They will. Fantastic
Lovely.
sweep from Carter and Simons, and it is
Boy, that
Marianne
walk's out there.
Arsenault
Yeah.
lying
With the right
three
weight.
without hammer.
That is a terrific shot there by Marianne, and great brushing by Renee and Sasha. Wow. Sarah
we got a
Wark
good-
now in a heap of trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say we got a good look at it there, and it is, whew, not a pretty picture, that's for sure. When you look at it from this angle, it doesn't look too bad. It looks like Sarah has options, but when you look at it from the hog line, it is looks like a blue fortress.
You know, the one thing too is you play that red one now, John, which is really, I think, her only shot unless you decide to draw to the button. But if you miss it and Marianne goes up and throws a guard or something, I'm not sure if you're going to score. So this could be an all or nothing here shot if Sarah decides to play her redstone.
Yeah, that's what I like. Either that or we do this.
No, I think if you're coming here, you're just drawing. We want to leave that for a shot, right?
Okay, then this. 12.
You got it, sir.
So you heard Kristen say there they want to leave that redstone for their last one, and I completely agree. That's something that you need there in case you need it there. So chance here, I think what they've elected to do is maybe throw about a hack to board weight and get to the shot that there's a good look at it, the shot that Marianne just threw. Hit the one that's shot rock out of the rings, or at least back out of the way, and then keep their other shooter in play just in the top 8.
So big shot here for Sarah Wark. Facing 3 Arsenault counters, needs to make this one very precise.
Close.
Whoa, close.
Close.
Whoa, Amanda!
Needs
Hard!
this to curl.
Hard. Okay, sir.
And so it will get pretty close to where she wanted to hit it, but it is still Arsenault lying too.
What was that?
If you're Sarah Wark, Melissa, this is a much better looking house than it was.
It is for sure, and you wish maybe you had more than one rock left, though. However, you have to think about, you know, I'm looking at the house. We'll try and listen in to hear what Gina and Marianne are talking about, but
So do we guard that? Right there.
I think you can leave the
Let's go
shot
through
that
way.
the rock that Sarah just threw, John. I don't think if she knows that she can get shot rock.
That'd be big.
Really come through the end and do this thing. Flip, flip.
She's got the draw to the 4-foot, and she's got this for one. This doesn't give her one.
No, exactly.
Exactly.
And you're thinking she'll come in off that? I'm just looking at options, like could she come through here? I don't think so. That's pretty tough.
This is probably the easiest shot.
That I think is the easiest shot, yes.
That's pretty easy too. Okay.
This looks juicier from down there. If I was them, I'd want to play it.
Sometimes it is all about the juicy factor. As Sasha Carter just tells us there. That's, you know, sometimes that is, and we brought this up a couple times this week, sometimes that's a very productive way to think about things. If I was the other team, what would I want to throw? And so I think that that's exactly what Sasha sort of indicated, that if I were Sarah, I'd love to be throwing at this red one on the right, and that was kind of cinched the deal for Marianne. So that is the one she's going to elect to guard here with her final stone. She's
And part of
lying
that
to
conversation, sorry, John, part of that conversation should be about what you know
We're
your
pretty
opposition
tight,
likes to
Gina.
throw as well. Sarah likes to throw those hits, those taps, those in-offs. So
Word
if you could
4.
ever force her to cold
Whoa.
draw to the 4-foot against
Whoa.
1 or 2, I think that
Whoa, just
that
let
is
her finish.
a small success for you.
Yeah, absolutely, no question. That's part of the juicy factor, is considering what your opposing skip likes to throw. And yeah, as you say, Sarah likes to throw the hits and hasn't thrown a draw in quite some time, Melissa. So this
Yeah, you got it, Sarah. Just give it to them.
this is a lot of pressure here in the 8th end. Arsenault sitting 2, and we know that Sarah would love to score here and tie this up in the 8th. So a lot riding on this stone.
Kind of how far that goes.
Oh, 12. 12. That'd be great. Just be careful. They've been swinging in at the end here.
So final stone, Sarah Wark here in the 8th end. Facing 2, needs full 4-foot.
T-line, guys.
Hard line. Hard line.
Got to get it by those top ones. Can they get it by?
Hard, Manda, go.
They get it by. Can they get it in for shot? They do. What a sweep from Guido and Thompson, and what a shot.
Fantastic sweep.
Sarah Wark, absolutely phenomenal shot. Facing 2, gets the all-important score in the 8th end. We are all tied up here in the BC Scotties. We'll be back right after this.
Really good sweep, you guys. Great sweep. I think standing in the cold like this just like makes the joints older, you know? Warm up. Warm up. Okay, tight.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to continuing coverage of the BC Scotties semi-final, live here on Czech and CBC Sports. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo as we have a very close battle here between Sarah Wark and Marianne Arsenault. And Melissa, going back to that 8th end, Sarah Wark had not thrown a draw since before the 5th end break. I think the last draw she threw was in the 3rd end, and she manages to navigate a really tough guard situation and Marianne Arsenault sitting 2 to get her 1.
Yeah, what a great shot by Sarah Wark, and you heard her just before we went to break to thank her sweepers. They were on that from the minute she let it go right to the very end, and they put it half on the button. So a terrific team shot by Sarah Wark and her group.
Line's a little tight.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Yeah, fantastic shot by Sarah, and right now that is
As far as you can.
what's keeping her team going. She's leading the skips battle here right now after 8 ends. Sarah curling 81% compared with Marianne's 69%. So a bit of a gap there, about a 10% gap, and I think that's just due to the fact that Sarah's had to make some pretty high degree of difficulty shots, and she has made them.
I don't like coming around.
Okay.
Either the second guard or nose. Huh. I like the second guard.
There's like, wait, I get to choose? Me, the skip? No. So Marianne playing to the wings, and this is a strategy that we've seen from her, Melissa, especially in the 9th end, tied up. What's the reasoning for that? Because I think most people watching this, if they're casual curling
really gotta
fans or
move,
maybe
guys.
play in a
Really
league,
gotta
they
move.
might
As long
think
as
that
it's
you'd
over, you can leave it.
automatically
Just
come
move.
behind the
Stop.
center
Push
guard
to
here.
center. Push to center. Big push to
Well,
center.
we've talked about it before, John, about the game plan and the conversations that take place in the off season or prior to coming to such an event. And as a team, you need to decide what you want to be heading into the 10th. And we talk about that. Do you want to have hammer? Is that the most important thing? Or do you want the 1-point lead or the 2-point lead or whatever it happens to be? So for Marianne Arsenault, she wants the hammer. So if she can either get 2 and give up the hammer, that would be okay. But if she
Close
could
the line.
blank this end, that would be her ideal situation.
Yep. Gotta go.
So we'll see if she is able to do that.
Hard. Keep going.
Marianne
Sarah
tried
Wark
the
with the-
strategy. Sorry.
Hard, Gina.
Sorry, I was just going to say with Sarah Wark, obviously with the situation it is where she's trying to force, that's why the double guard and ignoring the one on the right. If you hit the one on the right, you're pretty much saying, hey, let's have the blank here. So a great shot there by Renee Simons to set up this end.
Yeah, she comes around both guards, no problem. And I was just going to say, Marianne played this same strategy yesterday in the B final against Diane Gushalak, and in that case, she was up in the 9th, so blanking maybe made some sense. And unfortunately, they gave up a steal of 2, so it kind of put Marianne on the back foot. She did end up winning that game, so it was okay in the end, but we'll see if she can maybe have a bit better of a 9th end this time around.
Back 4. Back 8.
Hard. Whoa, whoa. 14-5.
Okay, Carla.
Okay.
And a nice shot there
That's
from
good,
Carla
Carla.
Thompson, but it does slide a little bit deep. And now we'll see Marianne start to peel some guards.
I think that's what we said.
Look where it landed.
Close. 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 Nah, just the one.
Okay. Good throw.
So not able to get the double peel, but will get rid of the top one is Sasha Carter, and I think we'll see Sarah replace that, which indeed she is.
Yeah, for Sarah Wark here, I mean, a steal obviously would be a fantastic, but the key here is trying to
Lots of line.
force Team Arsenault to a single point.
Where are we?
If she could ever
2,
get,
3.
get the,
Halfway.
a down one with hammer.
Yep.
Sarah's very comfortable with hammer too.
Whoa.
She knows how to generate her deuces, so that's what she's going to try and do.
No.
If the steal
Yep, go
presents
then.
itself,
Hard.
obviously she'll
Hard.
go for the
Really
steal
hard.
as well.
Really, really hard. Really hard. Go, 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 go. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Yep. Hard, 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 hard. Okay. 16-2.
So doesn't quite make the freeze, but not in a bad spot there is that Carla Thompson rock. Still double guarding shot. So it looks like Marianne just looking for the peel on the one on the center line from Sasha.
Yep.
Just clean. Just clean. Just clean. Not too crazy.
Clean. Shot.
Looks like a good pair by Sasha Carter.
Yep, she's always been a fantastic hitter, and she makes no mistake on those two.
Is that?
Oh my.
This surprises me maybe a little, John. I am a little shocked as to why she's not putting up another center guard. She's in good shape right now. Maybe trying to hit and roll under.
Go, Amanda, the whole way.
Forefoot, perhaps.
Hard, Amanda. Really
Yeah, trying to
hard,
put
Amanda.
pressure on in a
Stay
different
close,
way
Carla.
here.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Would love to make a roll here.
Sorry.
And
Sorry,
it
Chris.
will roll just a little bit too far. Will it go all the way out? It does. Tried to sneak behind our score bug so I couldn't fully see it,
I
but
don't know what team it was.
it does slide out of the ring. So
More so than
that's
hitting and rolling off
I
the top
agree,
red.
Melissa. Bit of a strange
Hitting and
strategy,
rolling on.
and
That's a corner guard.
Okay.
and now an opportunity here for Marianne to
You like the split at all?
keep the blank alive, or maybe potentially bring 3 into play with a split.
Okay. Back 4.
Definitely some options here for Marianne now. You know, ideally she wanted the blank, but there's this chance now for Gina Schrader to play a split on those 2 blue ones, get them as far apart as possible, expose that rock that's back for your teamwork shot. And you never know what'll happen. It'll be maybe just by that decision that Sarah Wark just made, John. It's almost like you've turned the tables now this end. Marianne Arsenault was chasing, and if Gina makes a great shot here, it's going to be Sarah Wark that's going to do the chasing now.
So they don't quite make the split, but they do bump that blue one up for shot, and
The blank's alive.
it's really not in a bad spot.
Great shot, Gina.
So maybe a little bit of decision time here for Sarah. She could double
You
out
like
those
that?
blues, but that probably brings the blank
11.
into play.
She's throwing a nice soft 11 here. So she's obviously trying to
Whoa,
hit
whoa,
this
whoa, whoa.
blue one
Amanda
and
all day,
roll
Amanda all
maybe
day.
under the guard. Amanda
Hard.
going for a curl here.
Whoa.
Okay.
Whoa, Amanda.
Whoa, Amanda.
So that will over curl and get rid of that top blue. So now we might see Marianne hit this corner guard and try to roll on the rings possibly.
Top 8, bite 4.
Yeah, back 8.
Okay, just gonna freeze on their own.
Top 8 to back 4, is that what she just said?
That's what she said, yeah. So I think she meant top 8 to top 4, but
Or maybe, yeah.
in any
Yeah.
case, yeah.
We're not
Yeah, so
heavy.
just
Let it work.
would really like to be on the face and not allow Sarah Wark an opportunity for a
Gotta
double
curl
here.
a
So
lot.
this rock placement is very key.
Curl. Hard, Renee. Hard. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, you want to make sure you get this in the right spot. Needs to bring this over.
Very good.
And great
Nice
shot from
shot.
Gina. It is Marianne Arsenault lying 2.
Perfect, Gina.
That is a really great shot by Gina Schrader. I almost said Richard again. Gina Schrader. So Sarah Wark now, no decision to be made here. She needs to try and remove a blue stone. She could maybe come to the nose of it, which I think she might be doing, and leave her rock right there in front, and maybe have a chance to use it on her second shot. I don't think she's playing the
wanna get
double,
to
but I
nose here,
didn't
so
see the
stay
indication.
close. You might have to push at the end, Carla.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the double's there either.
Here.
Yeah, I mean, just that indication alone, I think exactly. She's just trying to push that blue one out and sit right on top.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Carla. Go, Carla. Hard,
So
Carla.
Carla Thompson trying to
Whoa,
bring this
straight,
over.
straight, straight, straight.
Nice shot.
Good shot from Sarah. Doesn't sit right on top of that blue one, but has that blue in a bit of a red sandwich here.
Push it back and stay right there. Push that. Yeah. Then she's. Yeah. Or she. I wouldn't have a shot for two if she hits then and goes here. Just don't know if I want to play full hit weight.
I don't mind that or the split on the blue, like you were calling. I don't really like the freeze.
No, not the freeze. Thinking this. And what would you be thinking for the split? This? I think that's too easy of a double. Yeah.
I don't like that if at all.
The yellow back, the red back.
Like playing the red?
Right, which is fine. I think I want my shooter to stay right here. You like that? Yeah, just back line. Just edge. Look good?
So a good shot from Sarah Wark as it puts Marianne Arsenault in the tank a little bit, doing some thinking in there. And I think, Melissa, what she's decided is just to play kind of like back 12 weight and push that red to the back house and sit her blue right there.
Little bump back.
I think so. I think that's exactly what she's looking at, John. You know, you don't want to roll your shooter to a position where you give Sarah Wark a chance at a double, that's for sure. So I like this call by Marianne. Just a nice soft weight. Just back line, back 12. And just push it out into the open and lie your shooter. That's the key right there, is the shooter.
Maybe a bit up.
Close.
No, she's wanting to. Oh, just
Picking.
Uh-oh.
And that is an unfortunate circumstance here for Marianne Arsenault. The rock picking, and
Wow.
now they're just going to end up in the back 8. So looked like nice weight for Marianne Arsenault, and looked like yeah, looked like a
Good throw,
close looked like it was going to be close, and unfortunately that pick opens the door here maybe for Sarah.
I think her point is off here.
Yeah.
I think it'll go through the hole or off the backside.
Yeah.
Do you want to play that?
What?
Yeah. Or we pick. Pick.
Pick it.
I kind of like the pick because it forces her to make a play. And if we guard, she can still grab a piece, right? Just easy, comfy.
Easy, yes. Straight up, Sarah. You got this.
Yeah, I like the pick here, Melissa. She was talking about maybe guarding, but Marianne would have potentially an in-turn draw or even an out-turn draw, depending on where the guard ended up, to maybe get 2. So I like this pick. It forces Marianne to draw against 2. Are you on board with that as well?
Oh,
Where
I
do I
think
have
so
to hit
for
it?
sure.
To miss the back
You don't
one?
want to mess around. You
miss this
you
one?
want to force
Yeah.
Marianne to have to play a draw against 2 in the 9th end here.
Here.
I don't like it.
This is about forcing
the
your
only way
opposition
we
to
can
take
get
1,
them
and
both close.
simply because of that unfortunate situation
Like a
for
quarter?
Marianne
I don't want
Marianne
to.
on the last one.
Okay.
Oh, Sarah's going to come
I don't
down and
like
have
it.
a conversation here. She doesn't like it.
I'd prefer to throw this. Same weight I just threw.
Ooh, that's because you have to come across the face of it.
Yeah.
Like that's really close to the guard. That's a really
Yeah.
good shot. Like, what if you even just threw the same weight at this?
No.
I feel like you're either picking or freezing to it. This is really hard, Sarah.
I can see more of it than I could last time. Worst case scenario, I hit it a touch high side, we sit there. She draws still.
Yeah. Okay. If that's
I
what you
just
see.
threw this.
Pardon?
I just threw this.
Okay. If that's what you see. Good.
What did you get?
What did I get on yours?
Yeah. Actually, I hate it. I'm out.
Oh dear.
Oh my goodness! Is
I
this,
personally
is
don't
she
like it
talking
either,
about?
Sarah. If that
Yeah, I
helps.
don't like it
I know,
either. Yeah, no kidding.
And I don't even think I can hit enough of it.
I think she's
to,
maybe talking about, I don't know if it's this shot or my relationship
like,
with
jam it
myself,
without
but it
something
seems very
leaving.
love-hate in any case.
I think it just looks worse at that end.
She had the right
Yeah,
call
Melissa,
on her
you
first
still,
one.
yeah, I was just
Yeah.
going to say, you like the pick, obviously.
Absolutely. You don't complicate it for yourself. This is
Easy
just a
comfy.
straightforward pick. Force Marianne to have
Yeah,
to
I
make a
think I was
difficult
just
shot. I mean,
overthinking
it's
it.
not
It looks
that
scary,
difficult.
don't
You
it?
have to draw to the forefoot, but put some pressure on her. Just
Yeah.
get rid of that blue stone.
You're just sitting here.
Yeah.
You got it.
So she loved it, she hated it, she's back to loving it here. It's a pick here for Sarah Wark, and if she can make it, it'll be Marianne Arsenault drawing against 2. It's the same task that Sarah had last end, so we'll see if Sarah can now force Marianne to do the same. Big shot here, her last in the 9th.
Clean. Carla!
Carla, we don't have it. Okay.
Well, a little bit of a flash there, and Melissa, you know, you
Just a bit positive.
don't want to be critical of how teams go about their decision making, but do you think the sort of back and forth there maybe overcomplicated that shot in Sarah's head?
That's what we want, right?
Yes, 100%. And I feel bad for Sarah there because she had the right call on her first one, and then she got to the hack and just thought she wanted to repeat the shot she just called. But unfortunately, that was way more difficult than it needed to be. So the pick was the right call. But I think for Sarah, she maybe didn't buy into it 100%. And unfortunately for her, just flashed the whole thing. So it is going to be at least one. I think for Marianne Arsenault now, she does have to get full 4. I don't think she can tap for her second point. So Sarah's going to have to find a way to shake that off.
So a big miss from Sarah Wark opens the door here for Marianne Arsenault in the 9th end. And exactly what you said, Melissa. Marianne remarking that she needs to end up just beside her rock that's already counting. So a big draw here for a second point. Final stone here in the 9th. Just needs a piece of the button.
We got lots.
Okay, well then.
It
Close.
looked like she came out of the hack pretty quick there.
Just cleaning, but we got lots.
Yeah,
We
both
got
of the
lots.
sweepers thought out of her hand it was a
9.
lot.
Whoa! Just want to clean it.
Yeah, a little
She
rub
could
here
take
might
a
do
little
it for
kits
you.
off her own. Yeah,
Nice shot.
a beautiful
Great
kiss
communication
indeed.
there by the front end for sure.
Veteran moves from the veteran front end and the veteran skip, and that'll put 2 on the board for Marianne Arsenault here in the 9th. We'll see if Sarah Wark can claw her back in the 10th when we come back. You're watching the BC Scotties live on Chat.
save the 2 timeouts for Marianne's unless we need them sooner, but we should be fine for time. Yeah, we had saved enough though, so.
Line's great.
Yeah, it's good.
Welcome back, curling fans. It's the BC Scotties semifinal, and it's the moment we've been waiting for, the 10th end to decide who will move on to tomorrow's final to face off against Kayla McMillan. John Cullen alongside Melissa Saligo once again. And Melissa, it was an interesting 9th end. It was a little back and forth, and then Sarah Wark with an unfortunate miss on her last one, opening the door for Marianne.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for Sarah. I think she just hadn't convinced herself by the time she got to the hack. She called it once, she changed her mind, they thought about it, they called a timeout, and then she called the same shot she originally called. And I think for Sarah, you know, she just didn't buy in 100%, and that's unfortunate when you're sitting in the hack and you're not, you don't love the shot you're about to throw, or you even see the shot you're about to throw. So just an unfortunate miss for her.
Good sweep.
Good shot, Meta.
Yeah, we've been talking throughout the game about, you know, Sarah's confidence. She knows what she's good at. She plays a game style that, you know, that reflects that. And we've also talked a lot about her, you know, her ability to pump herself up for the big shots. And I think, you know, we see what happens.
Just line.
We see what happens when, you know, she maybe loses that confidence a little bit in her ability. And she just comes a little bit wide on that last one, unfortunately. And now we'll see how Marianne Arsenault approaches this 10th end up to. We haven't seen this from Marianne in the last 2 games against Gushalak and McMillan. So we'll see how she handles this now without hammer and down 2. And for Sarah Wark here, obviously getting over that shot is part of the key, Melissa. But what's she going to need to do here to try and generate a deuce?
Well, I think she's going to have to take some chances, obviously. But, you know, I think about Sarah, yes, she's going to have to put that one away, and she's been around the game long enough that she's probably already done that. What is interesting here, she's thrown up a corner guard, and usually what you would see is either a stacked corner on the same side, or even, excuse me, a corner on the other side. But already immediately she's playing into the rocks in the house, and I think she's doing that because of that reason right there, is that red rock is not in the rings, so Marianne can't deal with it at the moment. But I would have liked to see her, I think, either come around her corner or even throw another corner guard up to try and set up her deuce.
Okay. This side looks like it's biding still pretty good.
So it is Arsenault sitting 2 without hammer, but obviously Sarah Wark looking to find a way to 2 here at least.
Your line's real good if you can carry it.
Line's good.
Your line's real good.
Line's nice. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, line's good.
Okay, well.
Would love to get this in for a 3rd counter.
Had a girl.
Yeah, and ideally, if they ever half tucked that, John, that would have been ideal. Of course, it would have taken away this red run. But Sarah now has to deal with these blue stones. Can't just leave 3 blue stones lying there on that side of the sheets. Needs to move things around here. I don't even know if I'd throw a 10 here, to be honest. I'd maybe throw a back line to hack and just move them to the back of the house. You're going to need to use them, I think. Straight hit may not help you.
That's fine.
So Carla Thompson was looking for the double there, does not find it, but perhaps maybe lined up those reds at the front of the house.
Great
That's a
result.
good look at it there. Yeah, no kidding. That'll go straight back onto that blue, so something for Marianne to think about here.
Do you ever peel the guard, the corner guard?
Okay.
Time.
So they are going to take their first time out. I was literally just about to remind the audience watching the game that they have 2 timeouts left. Sarah Wark has no timeouts
You're talking about
and
the
is
corner,
actually
right?
a little short on
You
time.
can't
So
peel this.
we'll keep an eye on that. But Jerry Richard will come
Yeah,
out
I
and
don't.
converse with Marianne, and we'll take a listen.
Like I know she's gonna go bump bump. But if she leaves
Here
her shooter
or
somewhere
here.
up here, and then we can double this on the next one.
Yeah, she can bonk that and double those, right? Tricky.
Other option is to fill the corner.
Well, that's what we discussed briefly.
Wondering is, do we peel the corner now, get it out of there so it's not an option?
She's got to almost make a play on something, and when she makes the play on something, that angle is possibly changed to her benefit then, right?
Possibly.
Like she could get one
Yeah.
in and then
Well,
hopefully
she hits it right on the head, yeah. But
those 2 guards are if she plays on them, the 2 guards are grouped. So we should have. It might
Yeah.
be an easier double peel.
yeah, for sure. If she
And with only one of the
that.
rings.
And you like that more than tucking? Anything?
I still know that we need another rock in
Yeah.
the rings.
I
Yeah,
think
okay.
the only other, she could play the freeze.
She might
down
freeze, yeah.
there
Yeah.
there too, but
Yeah.
if she does that, then that run is
That-
probably
yeah, she's
gonna
negating
kill it
that.
that way, right? So
So you're kind of leaning towards
my
peeling the
first thought
corner.
was the corner, but if you feel you want to play into the rings and hook something,
Well, the thing is, if it doesn't hook, then we set up an easy double, and then she's sitting number 2 and number 3.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Would
So
we ever peel into the reds?
that's a little bit
Juggle,
scary,
But just a jug to unlock when there's
right? But yeah,
Yeah, because the top
right now
red
they
is
have
not
to make
going
the
in the
move
ring.
on those.
Right. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you
like
it.
peel the corner.
That was my first thought.
Okay.
Yeah. You like that?
Sure. I'm torn, so
Pretty straight.
very.
Very.
Okay.
So it seemed like they were discussing 2 options, Melissa. Peeling this corner or perhaps putting another rock in the house. Looks like they've elected to peel the corner. Do you agree with that decision?
I think I do. I'm like Jerry. It was my first thought for sure, but the problem with peeling the corner, I think Marianne is very, very worried about those 2 red stones as we look at them there. If you nose it, you may get the double blues as well. But this is really the only guard out there right now, and I think this is a good call for Marianne to make on Sasha's first, or is this her second shot? I guess. I think you should get rid of it.
All right, so we'll see if it ends up being the right decision.
take it,
Sasha
Renee.
Carter looking for a
gotta go
peel
hard,
here. And they certainly want to peel this.
Whoa.
Although that might not be a bad plan B as it kind of guards that run back
Boy.
for Sarah Wark on those reds.
Okay.
And I think it was veteran coach Jerry Richard who said, well, you never know what might happen where those reds aren't usable, and we already see that happening right away. So
I think
Carla Thompson
I think
gonna try to
Carla
get
can
in
see
here.
enough.
Yes, Chris. Hard. Hard the whole way. Hard the whole way. Gotta push, Kristen. You really gotta push, Chris.
Yeah, I think she's trying to move them, John.
Whoa.
You can see over half of those red stones, so she's trying to push them in. But she needs to curl more than that.
Love to stick this red around too, and
Boy.
unfortunately it won't. So it is still Arsenault lying 2 as Sarah Wark just about trips over a rock in the back there. And yeah, it just looked like maybe they overcooked it on the
We come
sweeping
right
a
in,
little bit
Gina.
there, Melissa.
I think so, and
Top 8.
yeah, unfortunately for Sarah, and
Full 12,
Carla,
bite
she needed
8.
to hit what she could see. So for Marianne now, what she's trying to get Gina to do is negate what the other team has. And what I mean by that is right now, Sarah has that red stone that's fully open on the right-hand side. So if you get this one frozen or at least half to 3/4
Weights
buried
lots
behind
right
that
now.
guard, it
Go
might
up,
take away that
clean.
short run
Gotta curl a
for
mile.
Team Wark.
Yeah, weight's real good.
So it'd be really
Okay,
nice
go
to get
ahead
this
for
right
curl.
into the rings.
Okay, straight now.
Looks a bit light, I think.
Straight.
I think
Come
so
on.
too, yep.
I'll count this one. Okay.
Really
okay,
wanted to
sounds
outcount that other red stone.
good. That works.
Not crazy amount of time, Marianne.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a look. I think Arsenault's at about a minute 20 left. They do have that one timeout, but they'd love to save that for Marianne's last. There we get a look, a minute 38. So we will keep an eye on that. And now Sarah's going to be doing some peeling.
Whoa.
Kristen Pilot's first here in the 10th.
Yes.
Amanda! Amanda!
This looks like plan B here. And they'll get rid of one of those Arsenault shot stones. So if you had to make a plan B, that's not a bad one.
Guard up here.
Yep.
I think this is definitely, you know, for both skips,
Yeah.
not the way they were planning this end to go. So now for Marianne, she's guarding a rock that's top forward, and she's basically guarding Sarah's only attempt, I think, right now to have an opportunity to lie to and bring that red
good.
stone that's top
Just a
12
clean.
or top 8, pardon me, into play.
Okay, clean only.
Because it's going to take a long time to try and remove that blue stone that's top 4 right now.
Carol.
They need this one to come over a little bit here.
Hard. Hard. Good.
Nice shot.
And nice shot from Gina Schrader.
works.
So only skip rocks left for Marianne Arsenault, and we'll see if Sarah can clear a path to that shot stone, but that's a good look there. A lot of rocks in the way.
Clean.
And what a
Wow.
shot from Kristen Pilot.
Great shot.
Gets rid of 2 guards and spills another red in the house. Fantastic shot.
Okay, time.
And it is now red lying second and third. So Arsenault going
Nice
to use their
call.
final timeout. Really good call and fantastic shot from Pilot.
She does.
Even if you just get rid of 5.
I mean, yeah, we could raise double them.
You like that more than guarding? Okay. Does she have anything off the 2 over there? Yeah. Go that way a little bit.
Maybe an inch or 2 early on the center line side.
Yeah, like go for the raised double.
Yeah.
And if we just get the
I
1.
can't see us how we could kill our own. Well, we could hit it if we pass it by the top red or the second red. We could kill our own back there, but I think that you have to throw a guard in this situation, really.
I know.
Right? She's got that. She could make that outside double if we guard. So I think we basically have to eliminate a rock.
Right.
And I think the only rock we're going to get out of there is that top one. Short run back, I think. We
Okay.
should probably throw through our timeout a little bit if
Yeah.
we get back.
So they are electing to run this blue back and try for a double.
Basically-
The other
basically
option was the
nose
guard,
and
Melissa.
hair
Do
this
you have
side
a
of nose,
preference?
right?
Well, originally I was looking at
that's
the
where
guard,
my
I think,
eyes-
John, but I get what Jerry's comment was
peel.
there. You're trying to eliminate a red stone, a potential winning stone, because Sarah Wark does have the in-off off this blue one on the 12-foot out here, but this is really, really scary to have to run your blue one in when you're sitting shot rock top button.
So perhaps a little respect for the hitting ability of Sarah Wark that they've elected to
Definitely.
run this one back. And so huge shot here for Marianne Arsenault, up 2 in the 10th, but in a little bit of trouble.
Me?
Curl! Hard, Sash! Hard!
That's fine, Marianne.
And so Sasha was able to bring it
I
over.
don't know how much
So
time you'll have.
didn't run that red onto the blue, but an opportunity here for Sarah to lie too.
Yeah, it was a nice
And
shot by
really
Marianne for sure.
That shot from Kristen, really, Melissa, setting up the 2 for Sarah. We'll hear what they have to say here. So we know Sarah has no timeouts left, so she makes this decision fairly quickly. And I guess there's really no other option here, Melissa.
No, there really isn't.
And
And you heard her say she wants to roll Carla's way, so she wants to roll to the right-hand side. The idea here, not to leave Marianne Arsenault a
Either that or
double.
we draw around, I guess.
I like this.
Okay, you got it.
So Sarah Wark looking to eliminate the Marianne Arsenault shot stone and lie 2.
Yep.
She's down 2 here in the 10th. And she doesn't quite get the roll she's looking for, and so Marianne Arsenault here, Melissa, will have a double for the win.
Yeah, just off nose on the
Inside
outturn
edge.
side or the broom side. And both reds should go.
Lots of time.
So final stone for Marianne Arsenault and a berth to the Scotties final on the line. Has to make both Wark stones disappear.
She's close. She's got it.
And she will make no mistake. So Marianne Arsenault, her first BC Scotties and her first final. What a fantastic game from Marianne Arsenault and her team from the Kelowna Curling Club. We'll take a quick break and we'll hear from Marianne when we come back. You're watching the BC Scotties live on Check. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the continuing coverage of the BC Scotties live on Check. Melissa Saligo alongside myself, John Cullen here, and Melissa, we just saw a fantastic second half of the game from Marianne Arsenault. Really put the pressure on, especially in those 9th and 10th ends, and they move on to the final tomorrow.
Yeah, what a terrific last half. And that's what it's all about. We've said that before, a couple of the games we've seen. When you start off slow, it's all about regrouping at that fifth end and ensuring you have the ability to come back and play strong. And that's exactly what Marianne Arsenault's team did, and Marianne herself.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marianne Arsenault joins us now. And Marianne, congratulations on the win. A fantastic performance. I just wanted to ask you first about the 10th end. It looked like, I loved the way you played it. It looked like you were going aggressive to put the pressure on Sarah. Was that the plan going into the end, or just how it kind of worked out?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you want to get your rocks in a good place in that 10th end. We didn't have them perfectly set up as we would have wanted, and they got a little lucky with one that kind of trickled in, and so that gave us a little bit of anxiety, but made it through. And yeah, happy the girls have played really well.
Congratulations, Marianne. You guys definitely played a solid last half. And now preparing for tomorrow's final against Kayla McMillan. You've played her before. You've been in finals 100 times. How are you feeling, and what are you going to do to prepare for that game?
I don't think we'll do a whole lot different. We'll have some nice supper tonight and get a good night's sleep. And, you know, us old gals, we like the morning games, getting up early and everything. So
that could be an advantage for you against Kayla tomorrow. Yeah,
and yeah,
absolutely.
Our experience, I think, has to count for something.
Fantastic.
Yeah, totally.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Yeah, speaking of that experience, just your first BC Scotties, your first BC Scotties final. Just talk a little bit about what that means to you, getting together with this team for the first time and making the final.
It's pretty awesome. You know, we didn't get a chance to play last year, and we were quite disappointed in that, obviously. And so nice to be able to play this year. It was off, and then it was on. It was off. It was on, and so we didn't really know until, well, Sasha said basically, we're not going to believe it's on until the last rock of the last end of the last game. So I think we're
almost
making
there.
it through. But
yeah,
my old team in Nova Scotia won Nova Scotia, so it would be pretty awesome to go play against them in Thunder Bay.
Absolutely. Well, you know, best of luck tomorrow. We're going to really look forward to that final. That is in the morning, like you said, 9 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow against Kayla McMillan. And as for me and Melissa, we will be back tonight with coverage of the men's semifinal. It will be Jeff Richard against Jim Cotter to see who gets the right to play the Islanders tomorrow. We're very much looking forward to that, and we'll throw it back to the Czech studios. Stacy, Kevin, Julie, take it away. For Melissa Sligo, I'm John Cullen. We'll see you later.